Some people love me, and they don't even know I have a hard time loving myself. Some people judge me, and they don't even know I have a hard time judging myself. Life gets ugly, but I got a paintbrush and paint a pretty smile on myself. Mouth stay shut even when I need help. In too deep in the water, Mike Phelps. Swimming lessons, I still got many unanswered questions. Sick of the anger, sick of depression. Wanna be grateful, count your blessings. Just give me my salad, you keep the dressing. Cause I'm cream of the crop. He paid the price, I'm worth a lot. He told me go, why would I stop? Rest on my thoughts, jump off the tire. D-Lo Brown with the frog splash. Leaps of faith, what I call that. If you hit my line for the old me, when I hang up on you, don't call back. I ain't gon' block my blessings, I'd rather block your number. Life taught me so many lessons, Been down bad, never under. That's breath in my lungs. Some people die young, where I come from. Woke up and gave thanks to Father and Son. Filled with the Spirit, I shine like the sun. Ghost in me, but I ain't haunted. Bad vibes, keep them, don't want it. Pride hard to swallow, doggone it. And you were really never my opponent. I ain't fighting evil, man, they hearts black. They wanted my life, told them back. Got an itch for sin, can't scratch that. Keep the truth loaded in the black gap. Just know if I said it, I'm in it, and they gon' take it back. Learn the game brighter than my granddaddy's Cadillac. Young man, old song, imagine that. Ain't in my control, gotta pray, let them handle that. God hit my line, gave me to play. Roger that, game on. Alright, you hate like a running back. If you ain't catch everything I said, better run it back. Eating up this beat, break bread, where your sandwich at, yo. Thought I was done? No, this beat ain't like Kobe, I'm too full. My God, sicko mode, he too cold. I'm skating on beats, froze on with the flow.
Run it. I can't take no loss. I don't even know what it costs. I hit the ground, then it go off. Yeah, hit the ground, then it go off. Yeah, I can't take no loss. I don't even know what it costs. Yeah, I hit the ground, then it go off. Yeah, hit the ground, then it go off. Yeah, run it. Ooh, I really feel it's my time, think it's my year. Yeah, I really feel it's my time, think it's my year. Yeah, I really feel it's my time, think it's my year. Yeah, I really feel it's my time, think it's my pen ready. Used to hold myself back, my self-esteem been petty. Gotta keep on chugging, ran through everything in front of me. Might smoke bed heavy, got a whole agenda. Can't aspire to get ahead, so bump that, it's no surrender. Got a dollar flipped up, I'm trying to get it in FT to get them when they're hand and crypto. Learn how to fix that. I don't really hold out of books, but I'ma learn how to fix that. Some opportunities that never come unless you paying attention, so no, I can't miss that. Moving, MVP, I got the record, I might have to prove something. Big jumper worthy, they gon' have to retire my jersey early. Whole crew coming, had to work something, cause I had nothing in my pocket. Yeah, I did all that. Big plans, partners trying to make profits. Yeah, I did all that. Work, sweat, and tears breaking, even no ends. Yeah, I did all that. Had to make it happen. Putting hours in my practice, I did all that. Yeah, I can't take no loss. Yeah, I don't even know what it costs. I hit the ground, then it go off. Yeah, hit the ground, then it go off. Yeah, I can't take no loss. Yeah, I don't even know what it costs. Yeah, I hit the ground, then it go off. Yeah, hit the ground, then it go off. Yeah, run it. Ooh, I really feel it's my time, think it's my year. Yeah, I really feel it's my time, think it's my year. Yeah, I really feel it's my time, think it's my year. Yeah, I really feel it's my time, think it's my big dog, walking big talk, young veteran, living legend, bet I'm better than them. This is my ship, I'ma jack it like Letterman. Y'all better not let them in, they gon' rotate this, so I keep the pedaling. Started a chain, the cycle is heaven sent. This is from God, but I'm not your reverend, not in the pulpit. I'm a pit bull in this element, yeah. Said you gon' pull up, then settle it, yeah. I've been married to this hustle, this is my ring, watch out, step in it, yeah. And I ain't even got a yard, but I'ma get it here. Watch out, touchdown, pulling plans out the clutch. Everybody getting crushed, the cut down is for us now. Have to work something, cause I had nothing in my pocket, yeah, I did all that. Big plans, partners trying to make profits, yeah, I did all that. Work, sweat, and tears breaking, even no ends, yeah, I did all that. Had to make it happen, putting hours in my practice, I did all that. Yeah, I can't take no loss, yeah, I don't even know what it costs. I hit the ground, then it go off, yeah, hit the ground, then it go off, yeah, I can't take no loss, yeah, I don't even know what it costs, yeah, I hit the ground, then it go off, yeah, hit the ground, then it go off, yeah, run it, ooh, I really feel it's my time, think it's my year, yeah, I really feel it's my time, think it's my year, yeah, I really feel it's my time, think it's my year, yeah, I really feel it's my time, think it's my, yeah. Here we go, at the top of the class on a roll, and it's time to run it up, yeah you know. Maxed out, put the pedal to the floor, ayy, on the road, here we go. Yeah, we winning by a landslide. Never see me coming, I'm a landmine. Yeah, I ain't taking orders in command like, yeah, you about to see me on demand like, you know on demand. If you ain't know, you about to understand. Yeah, I got the team by my side, right hand. Yeah, take it to a string, you ain't seen it like that. Yeah, and it's the dream, and we coming for the bag. Yeah, and we ain't never going back now. Future expedited, now we on the fast track now. They won't lend a hand, now they see us on the map now. It's time to act out. Here we go, at the top of the class on a roll, and it's time to run it up, yeah you know. Maxed out, put the pedal to the floor, ayy, on the road, here we go, yeah. At the top of the class on a roll, ayy, and it's time to run it up, yeah you know, yeah. Maxed out, put the pedal to the floor, yeah, on the road, here we go, here we go. Here we go, at the top of the class on a roll, and it's time to run it up, yeah you know. Maxed out, put the pedal to the floor, ayy, on the roll, here we go, yeah. At the top of the class on a roll, ayy, and it's time to run it up, yeah you know, yeah. Maxed out, put the pedal to the floor, yeah, on the roll, here we go, here we go. Here we go. On a roll, here we go, here we go.
What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Frankie Candles live stream every single weekday right here at 5:45 p.m. Eastern Standard Time and at 11:45. Sometimes when Bitcoin gets a big dump, we got to go live during the day for you guys. I usually drop the market updates, but we decided to go live today. But guys, obviously, Bitcoin getting that big drop to the downside. If you guys missed the live stream earlier today, I will be going over some of the levels that we were looking at. But obviously, guys, we've seen this drop down. We were looking at the liquidity in the market last night, sitting below our range lows, or the value area low, rather. And we knew once that liquidity got taken, we would see a very likely quick drop to the downside. We have now gotten that and come down to our key level that we've been looking at, honestly, forever. Ever since we started consolidating up here, for the most part, we had that daily level sitting at about $87,347. We have hit that level. We have now gotten back above it. Are we going to be able to get some kind of a pump to the upside? And if we do, is it going to be big, or is it going to be to come up, put a lower high in, and come back to the downside? I want to talk about that possibility with you guys. Not only the move up, I want to talk about how high we can go, and if we are going to get a return back down to potentially that $83,000 to $80,000 zone. I want to talk about kind of where I'm going to be looking for those rejections, maybe some new short positions, and we are also long in the premium Discord off this daily, guys, and that trade now is in profit. We make that money as price goes down, and then we make it back, or make more back on the way to the upside. But shout out to the CandleMafia. Thank you guys for being here. Shout out to Bitfrog, said, you have a crystal ball. Don't lie. Shout out to Bitfrog. Guys, listen, we just know how to read the charts, and we teach it every single weekday right here at 5:45 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And we don't hold back. We show you guys how to do this as well. But some people think we have, shout out to Bitfrog, thinks we have a crystal ball. Again, I said this earlier today. Don't investigate it, but we definitely don't have a crystal ball. And if we did, I definitely am not in possession of it. We might have, I don't know. Anyway, let's change the subject. But anyway, shout out to K Diggity. What is going on, bro? Phoebe says, hi, K. Shout out to you, man. Welcome in. Shout out to Cade and Melissa, Rob the Crypto Snob, Tyler Jordan, Crypto Anon, Chemistry Bro, Darren does things. You guys know who the mods are. Show them some love in the chat. Shout out to Kodan. Kodan, I don't know how to say your name, bro. I apologize. Dropping that Bitcoin jack-o'-lantern. I love that. That's one of my favorite emojis here for the members. But let's see. Shout out to Erica, VW John. We got Nirvana in the chat. Dropping those crystal balls. Insider, BTC. Shout out to Conan. Maybe. I don't know. But yeah, let's see. We got weeks of recovery. Hopefully, we do get some kind of recovery here. We got French Toaster in the chat. Shout out to you, man. Welcome in. We got Pennywise, everybody's favorite friendly clown. CJ, what is going on? Said 20% of the way to zero. Shout out to CJ. We got Goldavelli. We got Hugo. What is going on? Said Frankie's got Satoshi connections. I mean, he is my cousin, guys. We do call him. You can only call him, though. You have to use a special type of phone, guys. You can only call him on a cash phone. You have to call him with straight cash. You can't call him on a cell phone or anything like that. Wow, cell phone. When was the last time I heard the word cell phone? That's crazy. But anyway, guys, let's see what we got going on here on the charts. We're going to jump right in. Don't forget to smash that like button, guys. If we get 1,000 likes, we didn't do it on the earlier live stream, but we did do it yesterday, I believe. So we are going to, or did we? No, I don't think we did it yesterday. We have $350 of Solana to give away. We hit a like goal at some point, but if we hit it again tonight, guys, we will add another $350 in Solana to the giveaway on Friday. So smash up that like button, touch it with your butt, elbow it. I don't care. Creepily follow it. We don't judge you guys. We just want you to hit it, and if you do hit it an odd amount of times. Let's see. Burner phones from CVS. I don't think they sell cash burner phones at CVS, but yeah, we got to call them on that cash phone. Shout out to Carlos. Welcome in, bro. Let's see. Servando Estrada, what is going on, my friend? Welcome in. Said, shout out to Pennywise. Said, I'm loving it. Tyler Jordan said, we hit a like goal last night. Okay, so that must have been when we hit it. But yeah, 1,000 likes, guys. We'll add some more Solana, and maybe we'll give away something different. I know everybody's hating on Solana right now, so maybe we'll give away something else. But let's see. We need some more crypto Viagra. Yeah, that might not help. We need some Satoshi Blue Chew here. But anyway, guys, with all that being said, let's go ahead and jump on into the charts and see if we can predict this next move, as that bounce from the daily is playing out very nicely. So let's go ahead and jump on into the charts. Let's get into it. So here we are, guys. Bitcoin. Oh, man, it's going to zero. But first off, guys, I do want to kind of cover the, we're going to go, obviously, over the bullish case and the bearish case. But I'm not really going to talk about, like, the massive bullish case here because at the end of the day, guys, right now, I'm not necessarily anticipating a rip up to all-time highs. This does not mean that we can't continue up. Like I said, a lot of people are talking about, when is the bottom going to come in, right? And it's very hard to call, right? I'm not saying this is the bottom forever, and we're going to go off into new all-time highs. As a matter of fact, based off the higher time frame money flow, I would actually say it's probably a little bit more likely to get a continuation to the downside. So today, I do want to cover, obviously, I want to give a little context about this drop to the downside, and then on this little bounce to the upside, I want to talk about where I'm going to be looking for key resistance if we are likely to put in a lower high and continue to the downside as our high time frame money flow comes out, and not only on the 2-day, but also the daily time frame money flow is still in the red here, guys. So we have to understand that this is likely going to indicate the continuation of that downtrend, but it doesn't mean you can't capitalize on these little moves to the upside to catch those lower highs. So I'll talk about all that, and then I want to talk about the overall bearish case because I do think there is a scenario. Now, again, just to preface this, guys, none of these bearish cases are in the context of the bear market being here, the real bear market. I know this is very painful. We're at extreme fear now on the fear and greed index. This is, again, I actually do anticipate more downside for Bitcoin, but it is not in the context of the bear market being here. And I'm talking about like a full-blown 4-year cycle bear market. Now, is this possible? Obviously it is. I've been talking about this a lot. But as far as I am concerned, based off the charts, I am willing to endure a little bit more downside without calling for a bear market. But when that bear market is very likely here, guys, I will be the first person to let you know. But I'm also not going to come up here and say that 110K, 109.8 is definitely not the top. It's very hard to call at this point. We can only take the information on the charts and then use that to our advantage to put the probabilities in our favor. So I'll talk about like the bearish case and the bullish case. However, the bearish case is still, not bear market territory, right? It's going to be like kind of the worst case scenario for the bullish event to play out or the bullish bias to play out. So again, just starting off on the higher time frames, 2-day money flow in continuing to the downside. This anticipates that lowered continuation of that downtrend, right? So that's just kind of my overall bias here, guys. Sure, we as we were looking at earlier this morning, shout out to not only everybody in the live stream last night where we were able to see that this was going to be a quick move down if we broke that key level, but also in the earlier live stream as we saw that we were coming down to key support. This is not where you want to be looking for fresh shorts, guys. This is where you want to be looking for longs, which we have actually done in the premium Discord. So I am now not only in the short position, but we are now also in that long position. Hang on one sec here. I don't want to leak any social security numbers. I accidentally hit the back button here. I don't want to go back to let me go ahead and refresh here. I don't want my email to pop up. Not that I don't want you guys to have my email, but be very clogged up very quickly. But yeah, in that long position, this is the long position that we were showing yesterday, or not yesterday, earlier this morning, as days are blending together here. But we're in that short position. From up here, this short is from about $101-ish, or no, $102,000. And then we do have the long position that we entered earlier today in the premium Discord, as we did get some bullish confirmations down here. Took a stab at that position. Now, I'm not necessarily anticipating this. Let me just go ahead and hide this. I'm not anticipating the long to play out like super aggressively. I'm not looking to take this up to all-time highs. But that is now up $1,500. Not too bad since the earlier live stream. But that just goes to show you can make quick money here on the charts, guys. Yeah, there you go. Nice to see that long playing out. Short still massively in profit. I will be locking in more profits in this, maybe after the live stream, or maybe off to the side here. I might take some profits off this as well. But long now playing out very nicely. So shout out to anybody who is in that. Not that I was saying you should definitely long this, but we were talking about how key of a level of support this was, and if you could find those entry confirmations based off your trading plan and your strategies, you could look for those bounces. This was obviously a very key level here at that daily at $87,347. So overall, guys, money flow coming on the higher time frames. Short term, I do think you could potentially get a little retracement here, but at this point, until proven otherwise, guys, I am going to be looking for lower highs and continuations down for a little bit more of a bearish scenario. And I know not everybody wants to hear that, but again, I have a responsibility here to keep it honest with you guys. I don't want to give you bullish hopium if I don't think it's there, and we'd like to call these moves level to level, right? So, because that's how we personally make money. So, let's go ahead and dive in here. I'm going to pull up some of the charts here, or some of the TA. We'll pull up that main range, and I'm going to start off with some context here, guys. We're going to start off with some kind of what brought us here, right? Obviously, we've clung around this POC, super garbage, low probability trading. However, we were able to catch a nice long here in the premium into the high, which was the local value area high of the range. I could even show those levels really quickly. These are the same levels we've been looking at. I know a lot of this is repetitive for you guys, but I think it's important to understand, how we got here to understand where we're going, right? So we wound up deviating above that value area high. We caught the long, and then we wound up catching the short from the top, long in the bottom, shorting the top, back down to the value area low. And then, we were holding not only this short, but also the short from 102K in anticipation of yesterday coming down to that value area low of our range, sitting at $92,220. Beautiful drop down to that level. We broke down, bearish retest. We actually had a long setup here in the premium Discord. However, we did not get bullish confirmations, so we sit on our hands and we wait for the bigger drop down. And this brings us to yesterday, guys, where we had two important wicks to look at. One right here, and then we also had one. Yeah, we had one right here as well, right? And this is what these two wicks are what we were looking at yesterday, right? If we drop below this value area low and we come down to this level, really what you're hoping for is a swing failure of that level for a massive rip back to the upside. We did not get that, right? We did technically get an SFP, but there were really no other confirmations. Did we get this on the 1 hour? Yeah, we did get it on the 1 hour, but we came back up, bearishly retested that value area low, which wound up proving to be very, very, very strong for another drop to the downside. Now, yesterday, when we look at these liquidation levels, guys, these big wicks, we knew that there was a lot of liquidity sitting down below. We looked at the liquidation heat maps, and we just understand that below these large wicks, there's oftentimes a lot of liquidity. And not only that, but we also understood that there is not a lot of support down here, right? The real next key level of support was coming in at our daily level, which was sitting right here at the, oh my God, please mommy bounce. Please mommy bounce. Anyway, shout out to Tony D. But it's like an inside joke. But anyway, the daily level here at $87,347. This was really that next key level of support, right? We knew, obviously, that there was not a lot of horizontal support here. The value area low was the best level that we had, right? And again, we didn't get confirmation, so we don't take the long, and we let the shorts continue to play out. When we look for long setups, guys, we have to find those entry confirmations. And if we come down there and there's no entry confirmations, it's probably better to sit on your hands. You could take small stabs at it with tight risk management, but once you lose this level, guys, and we break this wick, we knew all those liquidations would fill very quickly, right? And what happens? You break this level, absolute dump down to the next wick, and then once you break this, absolute dump down to the daily. So, this is why on yesterday's live stream, we were looking at, if we break that value area low and we can't hold it as support again, we are likely going to get a quick drop to the downside, to the daily at 87,347. And that's exactly what we got, right? Not because I'm magic or I know something that no one else knows, right? Just simply based off the analysis and understanding where that liquidity lies in the market. Hey, shout out to Creighton C. Thank you for the super chat. I'm going to get through this. I'm going to come back and read that. He said ever since that new chair showed up. I know. Shout out to Creighton. I love you, bro. I'm going to come back to this in just a second. But, we knew, right? I want you guys to understand this because it's not magic, right? It's just TA. And when you understand how to read the charts, you can predict these moves. We get the quick drop to the downside because we knew we had that liquidity. Now, another thing that we knew, when we look at the VPVR, guys, we knew that we had the low volume gap starting below this range. And honestly, it hasn't even picked up in full yet. We are kind of dancing on the ledge here, as I was saying earlier in the live stream. We're kind of dancing on the cliff here, right? We kind of like ran up to the edge and we're kind of like dangling over the cliff, trying to hold our balance as our feet are slipping on that gravel. And that level, that last line of defense here at that daily, we're bouncing right now from that last line of defense. If we cannot hold this, if we come back down and we lose this, just to cover the bearish case very quickly, if we cannot reclaim this and the bullish case is, again, not that bullish, to be honest. But if we just kind of nuke from here, the level to stay above is the daily. 87,347. If we get back under this and get stuck underneath, guys, especially we come grab these wicks down here, we are probably going to come down to the range low at 85,212, I think is the actual level. Let me just grab it so I give you guys the most accurate levels possible. 85,212. I spent too much time on the charts. But once we start breaking into here, guys, again, just like we knew we had the liquidity sitting down here, and once those are triggered, we get a quick drop down to the daily. If we break down to the range low, this is where we could potentially anticipate a loss of the daily, come down to the range low, and once we tap into these liquidations, guys, we could potentially see another, just like we expected here, we could see another quick drop to the downside into our next major level of support, which is, I think the thumbnail says something like 80K incoming question mark. I cannot guarantee that we're going to see 80K, but I think this is a probable situation, guys, with the money flow coming out and the fact that we have all this liquidity sitting below. And on top of that, like I said earlier today, if I just hide all the horizontal levels, hide all these levels here, and I just bring up the, actually keep the range, and we'll show, I'm going to hide the dailies. We'll pull up the weeklies, the monthlies, the naked points of controls. We have no structural support, right? Like, really the only support we had down here were potential liquidity grabs, which aren't really support as much as they are levels I just like to look for trades at. So, the next structural support here, or the next actual horizontal support that we have, other than the daily at 87,347, right? We lose that. Come down here. The next level, really, is at the golden pocket, 2 daily naked points of controls, sitting between. Once again, I know we've covered this level many times, but I have to go over it again just because, again, we've been looking at this for weeks and it's finally happening, right? I don't want people to sleep on the fact that, even if we continue to bounce here, we could easily come back down to these levels. It's coming in between $83,324 and $80,000, almost even, where we have the golden pocket, the 2 daily naked points of controls, and we also have a very, very important anchored VWAP, not that one. We also do have a very important anchored VWAP. I'll re-pull it in just a second, coming up through here. So at the end of the day, I did this earlier, right? If we pull up the Bitcoin chart, right, all that resistance, all the horizontal levels are all sitting above. Like all the MPOCs, all the horizontal daily, weekly, and monthlies are all sitting above. Underneath this range, all we had was a volume gap, and that one daily at 87, where we're basically bouncing from right now. That's the only support we had. So if we lose this, that next big level is going to come in between $83,500 and $80,000. That where we have that golden pocket, right? This whole zone down here. So other than that, right, we only really had that daily level. That's the only thing we had between here and here. So if we don't hold this, we are very likely going to go down into this zone. Now the question is that the bear market? In my opinion, I don't think so, right? I genuinely don't think that. I think there is a situation, and again, just remember the volume gap. This is last line. This is why, right? It's not just this is a low price, and this is why I wanted to call this the "Oh my God, mommy, hold me," or "Oh my God, mommy, bounce" level. The reason this is here is because this is the last level of support before falling into this larger. This is really where the low volume gap really starts to pick up, right? You lose this high volume node. This is where price likes to stick to, inside the high volume area. Right? You have the high volume node on the value area low. Once you can't hold that, volume falls off like a cliff, right? And then that leads you down to the daily. And then once you fall off, this is like the edge of the cliff. Once you fall down here, could fall through this low volume gap very, very quickly, guys. And that's why this key level is so important. And it is nice to see a little bounce here. And we're going to talk about where I'm looking for this to go. But, this is definitely, I do see a case, right? I do see a case. Let me hide some of these other levels. I do see a case, right, where we can potentially see this drop down. Let me get rid of the anchored VWAP. why did I say anchored VWAP? Visible range volume profile. If we do, I see a situation here in the long term, guys, where maybe we bing bong around. It's probably going to be very confusing and very annoying. But I do see a situation where we come down for a lot more pain on Bitcoin before really seeing everything take off to higher prices. And listen, I am not going to sit up here and just be like, look for the bounce back up to all-time highs. Look for the bounce up to all-time highs, right? I'm not just going to sit here and long every level hoping for all-time highs. There's a lot of work that we have to do to anticipate those. But in my opinion, guys, when we look at this chart, when we look at this chart, guys, this is, definitely a plausible scenario, right? Is this the right golden pocket? Yeah, about 83. I think it might be, let me pull up the daily here so I can pull this accurately. Oh, no, that is accurate, right? I do see a situation where we could potentially come down to this golden pocket, maybe even flirt with this whole fib zone, right, before finally sending this thing off to all-time highs. Is this guaranteed? No. Right? If we come down here and it looks like garbage, I will much more likely look for a lackluster retracement. And if it really looks like trash and I think the bear market's coming, I will be exiting a lot of spots positions on a retracement to the upside to hopefully get out before a massive bear market. But I do think that this is a very likely scenario, right? Or at least a very probable scenario, right? It's not just if we come down here, we're definitely going to bounce to the upside. There's no way to call for that. If I called for that, it would be somewhat of a gamble, right? But if we come down here and things start to turn around and we get nice reactions off these levels with bullish confirmations, there is for sure a situation. This is the same scenario we've been talking about for months at this point, right? Looking for that drop to the downside into the macro fib before sending this to higher prices. We have a lot of liquidity in this market, guys. A lot of people on this big rip to the upside are entering FOMO longs, right? This puts a lot of liquidity in this zone, which I have marked out on that other chart that I just showed you, right? So if we do come down there, we could flush a lot of this liquidity, and this would be max pain in the market. The market's already at extreme fear. So if we saw this happen, everybody would be giving up on crypto. Crypto would be dead. Sentiment would be absolutely buried 6 feet under. And that is typically where you start to get bounces. So I do see overall, this is a big scenario that I'm looking for, right? I can't guarantee it. I can't guarantee, like if it comes down here, it looks like garbage. I'm going to say it looks like garbage, and this is much more unlikely. But at this point, this would be a golden pocket retest, 786 retest potentially. Hopefully we don't have to see the 786 because that makes it a really difficult situation, right? Because this is the danger zone in my opinion. But if we're looking for the uptrend to continue, right, and we're looking for a higher low, where is that likely to come in at? Me personally, I'm looking at this fib pulled from where price broke the all-time high, right? This all-time high at about 74K. So if we're looking for those higher lows, where is that likely to come in at? Well, we're going to be looking between the golden pocket, 786 retracement, right? Now, with that being said, this is, again, we also have a lot of structural resistance in here, or support, right, or horizontal support. We have MPOCs, we have the anchored VWAP. I'll pull that right now for you guys. It might pop up a little differently here just because of the Bitstamp chart. Not really, right? It's right in that zone. We have the 2 daily naked points of controls. So this zone, first the golden pocket anchored VWAP zone, is not impossible to come down and tap. And it will not be enough for me to say that it's a bear market, right? So, if we're looking for a higher low, this would be where you want to do it before sending this thing back up. Right? If we don't get bullish confirmation, if we're not going to put in a higher low in here, obviously that's more bearish. But this is what I'm looking for. This would not be out of the question here to retest that anchor VWAP, retest the golden pocket 786 zone for a higher low and a continuation up. That's not an impossible thing. It's definitely, you heard it here first. This is a scenario I'm looking for, but obviously it does require a bit more pain. And just judging by the sentiment that we have right now in crypto, sentiment does not need any more negative price action. But I want you guys to be aware of this, right? It's not because this is what I think. This is all based off TA and actual information in the charts, right? Liquidity and key levels. And again, we knew. I just want to say this. I don't say it to brag. I don't say it to say that we're the best. I don't say it for any other reason but to show you guys that, not only, hey, we predicted that if we broke this range low, we'd get a quick move down, but for these specific reasons. Because there's only so much you can look at on a chart, and this stuff repeats itself, right? So when you get into another position like this, if you have another range, say at 150K or whatever it is, right, and you have a big low volume gap down below, and all your volume is up here, right, you could say to yourself, well, hey, if we break down below here and we break into this low volume gap, we're probably going to get a quick move down. You could repeat this, right? We used this exact same strategy to predict this move down. Right, we knew we had a low volume gap. It's hard now because the volume is developed. But during this time, our volume profile had a large low volume gap all in here. So we knew once we started breaking those lows, it was probably more like this, right? We actually bounced off that low volume gap, and then it went down like this, right? So we knew once we broke into here, we could see a fast drop down, and we wound up getting that, right? It's a repeatable process. So just to point that out, right? We knew below this value area low, there was not a lot of support, only liquidity levels, right? Which are only good if you get the confirmation of the SFP. If not, you're probably going to dump down right through those levels. And that's why we expect that fast move down to the daily at 87, whatever it is, 87,347, right? And I'll just mark that out quickly because I could easily find that level, right? So that's how we knew that, right? And I'm just saying that. The reason I'm saying that is because if we break again below 85,210, we could potentially see the same thing happen into that next structural support. There's really not a lot other than this daily between here and here. So the idea of coming down here is very probable in my opinion. Now, locally, that's enough bearish, right? That's enough bearish news, right? We get it, Frankie. The money flow's coming out. We're probably going to go back down. But what about right now? Well, very simply put, let me go ahead and hide some of these levels just to clean up the chart. I'll actually keep the dailies on because that's what we're bouncing off of. Let's see. I'm ready for the bear market to buy the lows and then send it to Valhalla. Shout out to Brock. Yeah, and at the end of the day, guys, as a trader, we make money going down just like we do going up. So if you're here to learn how to trade, and if this is a bear market, there's no better time to be here and start learning every single day so you could capitalize on that move down. We're not a slave to the bear market over here in the CandleMafia. We make money in the bear markets just like we do in the bull markets, except for our spot bags, right? But anyway, it's like so funny, right? Like this is trading's hilarious, right? Because like once you learn that it's like, okay, bull market, great, that was so much fun. I made so much money in crypto this season, right? This cycle, right? Oh my God. Once someone tells you like, hey, you know you can make money just like that on the way back down, like your eyes light up with money signs, right? And we show this every single day, right? We show the trades. But the as we bounce here, right? We looked at this earlier today. We had the daily here. We slipped down below it. Our deal, right? Our kind of what we had to do earlier. I said, hey guys, like right before we signed out, we looked. Hey, if we reclaim this daily, this is what we need. We need to get over this daily, and that's where we can get a continuation to the upside. Where we were looking at our local Fibonacci retracements. We could pull it from this low to the high. All right. Why am I backwards today? From the high to the low, right? What happens? We get above the daily, we push into the golden pocket 786, and now that we're starting to crack above here, I'm going to pull up our next significant golden pocket, right? At this point, we got the move we were looking for earlier today. The long position is now in profit, up $1,700 right now. Not too shabby, right? Get that move up into the local fib. And at this point, I'm going to talk about market cipher B in a second, but if we continue up, the next key levels I will be looking at. Golden pocket at about $90,069, up to the 786 at about $91,180. This is what I'm going to be looking at if we do continue up. This is, and I'll be honest, short-term bounce might be pretty likely here as it was when we were, if we were able to get above the daily, we look for the move up, right? If we continue up, that's the next levels to look at. And when we start to look at some of these, some of this low time frame money flow, 15-minute money flow coming to the upside, right? 4-hour green dot, come on, is now confirmed. I would have liked this. This actually confirmed a while ago. But the, if that 15, I really would have liked that 15-minute money flow for the continuation to cross over into the green at the same time as that 4-hour green dot. But it is confirmed. It is pretty close, to be honest. 12-minute money flow starting to come into the green. If we can get this money flow on the 12 and 15-minute to continue into the green, also 24-minute starting to head to the upside. I do expect turbulence here. I don't expect it to be a straight shot up. But as this VWAP comes down on the 24-minute, hopefully we just get a little correction. Once this money flow crosses into the green, that's where we could potentially look for the bigger move up. And these are the key levels. Number one, bottom of the golden pocket, 90,067. And then you have your 786 up here at about 91,161. This is the next target, right? And we have to be careful on these levels because based off the higher time frame money flow, guys, it could be more likely to put the lower high in and continue down. But if we get the continued correction here, these are local levels. I'm going to look at some more intense levels that we have to be paying attention to put that lower high in at. But locally here, I don't hate this low time frame money flow, right? We put in some bullish divergences here, right? This is part of the reason why we look for the long. Bull divs into the low, right? We wound up sweeping a ton of liquidity down here, and then you get the reclaim of the daily, and then we get a push up. It's nice. We have to hold on top of this daily. Remember, the most important level still remains the same even after this big move down. This has been our key level forever, 87,347. This is still the key level. You break this and can't get back above. Like, we're likely going to go down into the low 80s, right? That's where the bearish case plays out. But hopefully, we can get a little bit of a relief here, and I will say something. Right now, guys, we had a lot of shorts enter on this dump to the downside, right? So naturally, all those stop losses are probably going to be sitting above these highs, right? This is just a basic liquidity. If we could creep up and start cracking these highs, we could potentially start a little bit of a short squeeze. Not short squeeze $1 million, but a short squeeze for a little bit of a continuation up. That would be really nice to see. But we came in, guys, very simply. We came into the low, put some bullish divergences in. Once you reclaim, That's where you look for the move up. And, we went over that earlier today, obviously we were ready for this in the premium Discord. Now, if we come up to the 8-hour time frame here, green dot looking to print. This, if we're going to continue up, right now, hopefully you guys have those levels marked out. If not, scrub back and screenshot them. That's the local fib, right? But if we can hold this daily, guys, get the 8-hour green dot, get the 24 and 30-minute money flow to cross over into the green, which 30 minutes not looking as hot, but that 24 minutes not looking too shabby. If we continue up, obviously the next major level of resistance is going to be the value area low of the range, 92,319. Now, this is a little bit hopeful, in my opinion, at this point. But, it's definitely there, especially if we know that we have liquidity sitting above these highs. I could maybe even pull these. Let me see if I can pull up the liquidation heat map real quick. I'll pull up the super low time frame liquidation heat map. Let me see. Let's go ahead and show this, right? Actually, let me see if I can. Bear with me here, guys. See if I can, boom, adjust this a little bit to make it a little easier to look at. So yeah, if we look at this is low time frame liquidity, and just keep in mind, right, it doesn't guarantee we have to come up there, but we do have a decent amount of liquidity up here. I mean, the real hot spot starts at about 89,628, right? So we can creep up, break this high, or really just break these equal highs, right? Above equal highs, liquidity resides, and you can just see that. Equal highs, liquidity resides, right? So if we can crack up in here, that is kind of where I would expect a little bit more of a short squeeze, and this liquidity does wind up ending at about $90,700, right? So right here, above these wicks, right? Even just above both of these wicks, 89.5, 89.6, above the high here at 90K, basically. We can look for that bigger shot up to about, what was it? 90,700, right? That's or at least where the liquidity stops, right? So 90,700. So, we might be able to get something like this. Start breaking these highs, we could see a little squeeze to the upside. Now, whether we're just going to sweep those highs and then send it back down to 80K is another story. But if that's able to give us fuel for a bigger push up, value area low 92,319 is the level to watch, because this could be the level that obviously, until proven otherwise, is going to be resistance. Right? Maybe we hop back into the range, send it back up to the POC. That would technically be your next macro level. But let me pull some fibs here. I'm going to pull from, pull a couple of them here. Yeah, if we pull this from the high to the low. Yeah, golden pocket. I would say this is a little bit maybe of a reach, right? Or a little aggressive. But, if we're going to get a bigger correction here, this is definitely the big resistance level to watch. Value area low, golden pocket confluence. If we're going to continue, if we're going to get some kind of significant relief rally here, put in a lower high. Where's that lower high likely to come in at? Golden pocket. Obviously, you have the confluence of the value area low or the 786. This will be an honorable mention because I don't know if we're going to be able to get above there. If we did, 786 at about 94,750 is going to be the next stop. But these are, I don't want to give you guys every single level, right? We'll just give the tangible levels that are kind of, palatable right now, right? I'm not going to talk about a, huge rip up to the macro POC at 96.6 when we're sitting at 89K. So, I would love a little bit of a squeeze up here if we could crack those highs. Mark my words, because if it happens, right, you're going to see, I want you guys to see and understand how the liquidity works, right? Those two wicks. We start breaking those wicks, you'll see how quickly price will start to move because we start to stop out those shorts and you see the squeeze, right? So the two, I'll give you two major zones, two significant zones. There's always going to be local levels, but these are the next zones I'll be looking at. Golden pocket, 786, 91,176, 90,055. Get above there. We're looking between about 92,230 and about 93,212 or 213, right? So these are the areas, if we're going to continue a very aggressive downtrend, the lower high might come in here. But if that money flow could continue up, I think there is a shot we could come up here. Either way, I'm in the long position, right? So we'll see what happens. When we come up here, I will reassess the situation, right? Hopefully I'm not sleeping when we get up there. So there you go. Low time frame, I think you're going to get a little bit of turbulence, but I would like to see, remember, money flow indicates the overall trend, and that 24-minute is honestly, 12-minute looking to cross or starting to cross over into the green, right? 15-minute starting to follow suit, looking to cross over into the green with a fresh green dot. Then that 24-minute is coming up as well. So hopefully we can see if the 15 and 12-minute continue up, right? You could see, come on down to the 10, maybe the 5-minute, right? 5-minute money flow crosses into the green. You get the continuation up, right? So these signals will leak into the higher time frames. So hopefully the 12 and 15-minute continue into the green. That leaks into the 24-minute, and we can continue the overall trend to the upside. locally. I am not calling for $1 million, right? Not calling for 100K. Just this is in the context. Context is king. Any move to the upside as of right now, based off the high time frame money flow coming out, would be looked at as lackluster retracement for a lower high and a continuation down. So on a higher time frame, right, this would be beautiful, right? If we don't come down, from where we are, right? That's assuming we get the retracement. But we don't know what exact fib we're going to get that to come in on, right? So we have to watch all these levels. But just watch this liquidity above here, because if we crack that level, maybe it'll happen live. I doubt it, because these low time frame VWAPs, 24-minute red dot looking to print. Hopefully we could see that happen, right? Because I could tell you right now, if we squeeze above here, you could start to see those shorts give you the quick move up. It's the same way that we predicted the quick move down here and the quick move down here. It's because we knew where the liquidity was. Once those longs get wrecked, you get those flash crashes to the downside. And once you understand this, it gets a little less scary when these drops happen. So hopefully we could continue to see this scalp long play out and give us a little bit of extra profit. But that's what I'm pretty much looking at here, guys. We came down, looked at this yesterday. We're at that level. We got the bounce. We caught the short from 99K, right? I didn't enter there. I entered, I think, at like 98K. And we're also holding a short from 102K, right? So shorts are playing out beautifully from here. Shorts are playing out beautifully from here. We come down to our next key level. We did not long the willy-nilly levels with no confirmations. We waited for the key level with the confirmations, and now we're in the long there. And that is currently playing out very nicely. There it is, right? Looking for that to come up here. So there you go. I'm going to come back into chat real quick. We will take a look at the altcoins. We'll take a look at Total 3 as well, and we'll keep an eye on Bitcoin, obviously. Hopefully we can get some fireworks here on the live stream and have some fun here and get a little relief rally. Let's see. Bada boom, bada bing. All right, let's see here. Bada boom, bada bing. Shout out to Midnight Sapphire. Says, shout out to Gloria. Please, my little candle fan turned 3 yesterday and has watched since before she was born. She smiles every time she hears him on. Frankie even sang her happy birthday when she turned 1. Shout out to Midnight Sapphire. I remember that. Shout out to Midnight Sapphire, and let's go. Well, happy birthday to Gloria. Let's go. It's crazy how time flies when you're having fun. Shout out to Midnight Sapphire, and happy birthday to Gloria. Let's go. That's insane. That is insane. Wow. Gloria is going to be a pretty profitable trader if she's been watching us since before she was born. Shout out to Midnight. Let's see. Shout out to K Diggity. Said, whoever has a bottle of cheap liquor, we're taking shots whenever he says liquidity. Drinking a little liquidity on the term liquidity. Let's go. Liquidity. Shout out to K Diggity. Don't drive, bro. Be safe out there. Don't drink too much. But anyway, let me jump in here really quickly to the super chats. Shout out to Creighton C, bro. Thank you so much for the super chat. He said, ever since that new chair showed up, the bull showed up. The bull, I warned you about it. It's evil. You looked possessed like a hostage. I left Tyler in charge with instructions. You look like a bear. Tyler, timeout. Shout out to Creighton C. Yes, guys, the new chair was the top signal. Bear market incoming, guys. Bear market incoming. I'm just kidding. Maybe. I mean, who knows? But again, I don't fall in that camp. You guys, we just went over the whole thing, right? I think a drop down to 80K and a recovery after that into all-time highs is definitely a possibility. And if it is, we're going to capitalize on that. And hopefully we could catch a massive swing long here. If we do come down there, hopefully we catch that massive swing long like we did down at 40K. Where is it? Down all the way here at 40K. And hopefully we don't get KYC'd out like we did on this one. But anyway, let's continue on. Yo, shout out to Runners for Nerds. Said bro's gonna puke after that one. Yo, Alfonso said I'm effed up. Shots. Let's see. But yeah, I do want to take a look at Ethereum, obviously, guys. I mean, we took a look at Ethereum a little bit earlier today, obviously. So there's not going to be much to update on there, but we are getting a little bounce, so we'll go over that as well. Raul Powell dancing with a banana was a top signal. Yeah, I mean, Trump launching a meme coin. There was a lot of top signals up there, guys. I'm not going to, beat the dead horse. I talk about it all the time. But, there are a lot of technical signals up here that have come up in previous bull markets at the top. But there's also a lot of stuff that has not happened or signals that have not presented themselves. Let's see. Yo, shout out to Wick589. What's a blue pill for TA? Because Frankie's got one. We got Blue Chew, guys. It's going to be it's actually called, I don't know. Somebody come up with a TA Blue Chew alternative. We're going to start selling it on the merch shop here. You just pop one, and it gets your TA. You'll start doing solid TA. We'll just say that. Is the daily SFP play potentially if we close at 89K? Shout out to TDK. That's a great question. So obviously, yeah, I mean, listen, the daily SFP, it could be possible, right? Not only could we potentially SFP the daily here, we could also SFP this wick where we know we had a lot of liquidity. This would be nice to see. I don't know. It's really hard to say. It doesn't necessarily mean it's the bottom before a new all-time high. It would be nice to see a daily SFP of this wick at least. I'd like to see that for a potential continuation up, but I would still be very careful for the retracements into these key levels, right, before coming back down. Because, again, it's all about the higher time frame context. And as we've been looking at for weeks and weeks and weeks and weeks and weeks and weeks, all throughout this consolidation after we made this high, you could tell that the daily money flow was not crossing over, but starting to trend to the downside, right? Starting to get to that trend. Let me change this to... Let me just change the color of this so you guys can actually see it. Right? You can see this is trending to the downside. At that point, right, you have to anticipate a potential downtrend to continue, right? Again, I never say we've been talking about this to act like we predicted it, but even though it might be the case. But when you see this money flow come to the downside, guys, this is why I love Market Cypher's money flow. When money flow comes out, the directional nature of this is very predictable, right? As this comes out, you're looking at this as potential, like, hey, money flow's coming out. Lackluster retracements to the upside, lower lows, lower highs, lower lows, right? So until this winds up shaping up and coming back into the green, we have to anticipate lower highs and lower lows. And to add insult to injury, we have the 2-day money flow coming out, and this hasn't even crossed over yet, right? But when we look at that daily money flow coming out before it's crossing into the red and before it's really starting to play out, people ask, right, like, what the heck? I thought money flow was trending down. Why are we pumping? It doesn't mean that you can't pump, right? But the overall trend is likely to continue, right? Like, oh my God, money flow coming out, and then you get a bounce. People are like, what the heck? It's like, it's the trend, right? The trend has ebbs and flows. Lower lows, lower highs, lower lows, lower highs, lower lows, right? So it doesn't mean just because money flow, right? This could take a long time for 2-day money flow to cross into the red. It doesn't mean we can't get retracements, right? It doesn't mean we can't get big moves up, right? If we moved up to, say, 95, 96K, that's a nice 10% move, 9% move, right? So people wonder, like, hey, but money flow was coming out yesterday. Why are we pumping? You have to understand the overall context. Money flow indicates the trend, not the instant pumps and dumps. Those are more signaled by the green dots and red dots on Market Cypher B. So that's kind of my bias, right? And if we just pull the overall, 94. Let me actually pull it on this chart, right? Let me hide the dailies here just to clean up the chart. I don't want to give too many levels here, right? And I'll just hide this. We'll hide this. That's actually, no, never mind. This is, even if you pull this, right? If we did get back into the range, let's assume we didn't reject the local levels. Let's say we do get like a daily SFP. We get a massive pump to the upside, right? We get above this value area low. Even at this point, guys, we could potentially come up, reject the POC, and maybe that's where you go for 80K. We have to assess the situation as it comes in, right? If we come up to the local fibs, right? We come up here, we get bearish confirmations, we'll see them, right? If we come up here, we get the bearish confirmations, we'll see them. If not, we wait for the higher levels. And there is confluence on this fib, from the high all the way down here to the low. 786 POC confluence. So, like, this is going to be another key level of resistance. But we're not going to look at that until it's, like, relatable, right? Or relevant is what I wanted to say, right? So, like, I could come up here and be like, well, hey, guys, like, if we retrace, the next golden pocket is sitting up here. But, at the end of the day, if this is an aggressive impulse to the downside, we might reject the local levels, right? So I have to bring those up as well. But at the end of the day, we could even come all the way up here and potentially still get kicked out and send it to lower prices. But at this point, right now, locally, we're going to look to see if we get a little turbulence here, send it back up to this fib, reassess the situation. If not, value area low, golden pocket, sitting up here between 93, 195 and 92, 189 are going to be the key levels to watch. But there we go. We'll see. Long playing out nicely. Doesn't matter, right? Does not matter which way we go, guys. We're making money. We're crushing the trades recently now that we finally got some volatility, right? We sit on our hands here. This was low probability trading up in this range, but we get nice signal up here for the short. Garbage, 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 garbage. We hit a key level. We take the long in the premium. Hit another key level with the liquidity grabbed. Take the short. Long stops out in profit. Short absolutely slaps. Right? So we're crushing. So it doesn't really matter, right? As a trader, I don't care if we come up or down. If I come down, I'll stop out of the long. Short continues to pay me out. But let's see. Bada boom, bada bing. Yo, shout out to the Fibinator. Shout out to you, bro. Thank you for the super chat. Said, when in doubt, just pull a fib. Pull it. Don't pull it out in public, guys. You can get in legal trouble like that. Shout out to Flat Smack. Said, when in doubt, go all in. YOLO. Shout out to Flat Smack. Let's go, baby. Flat Smack that like button, guys. We're going for 1,000 likes. $350. I should say in crypto. I don't want to keep saying Solana. But yeah, hit it. We'll give away $350. Add it. Well, that'll be $700 in crypto given away on Friday's live stream. Let's see. Shout out to C7. Said, Frankie, all high time frame money flow turning towards the green. Doesn't that mean that we may have a continuation to the upside? All money flow on the higher time frames, in my opinion, right? Like at least in the reachable like near future, is all coming out, right? So daily's obviously already in the red. 2-day is coming out. Right? 3-day is technically, it's like, coming out, right? 4-day, starting to peak out here a little bit, right? You can't really take much away from this, right? This is going to take a long time to develop, so I wouldn't really be making calls based off this. I use this more for like it takes a long time to develop, right? So it's a little harder. That's why I stick to the daily, right? The daily is a little bit more, if we were looking at the 4-day money flow, right? Let's say like the super bearish case plays out, right? We're just going to go down into a massive bear market. This daily money flow is going to give you the earlier signal that the continuation down is going to happen, right? And even the earlier signal is just seeing the trend down, right? This is just bearish alone, right? You kind of want to front run the crossover so you can get an earlier short, right? But if we wait for the 2-day money flow to cross over into the red, who knows, right? Like let's say the super bearish case plays out, which I'm just, before I do this, I don't fall in this camp. Well, let's say we come down, right? We start coming into the 60s, right? But if we wait for the 2-day money flow to cross over into the red, we're probably going to be entering like somewhere in here, right? So by catching the earlier signals on the dailies, that's why I use the daily as my first time frame that I look at to start analyzing the high time frame money flow, because this is going to be the early signal. When the daily comes into the red, oftentimes the 2-day is close to follow. Right? Now, if you look at the 5-day, right, this is, technically trending to the downside as well, right? If you just kind of connect these highs, you have a high, lower high, right? So this is all trending to the downside. Like even the 6-day, even the weekly is trending down, right? But again, this takes a long time to play out. So shout out to C7. As in the 4-hour. So high time frame as in the 4-hour. 4 hours, ugly money flow on the 4-hour. 2-hour, also very ugly money flow. I would say the lower time frames have the money flow starting to maybe shape up, right? Like I said, the 30-minute, the 15-minute starting to come to the upside, which is why my bias here is probably a little bit of a continuation up, especially with the addition of having that liquidity above. Could squeeze to the upside just a little bit, but in the overall trend, I would be expecting the continuation down based off the higher time frame money flow. So low time frame money flow is coming up. So yeah, that would make me anticipate a local continuation up, which is exactly what I'm looking for. Hopefully the long continues out to pay out. And then we're going to look to potentially take look for new shorts to continue slamming this thing back to the downside. So there we go. Hopefully that clears that up for you, C7. Shout out to Mag Max, shout out to you, bro. Says, dang, my alts are wrecked or cooked. Yeah, they are absolutely frying. Let's see. Zena says, ChatGPT says below 89K daily close is bearish, signaling potential 86K. I would have to agree with that. Let's see. Mom hold me level is valid. Shout out to Rag Capital. Absolutely. That's like, we don't mark out these levels for nothing, guys, right? Like, again, we had a lot of choppy price action happening up here. We had to sit on our hands here. I got stopped out twice in this garbage price action. Got a killer. We waited. And this just shows you guys, You really want to sit and wait for the high time frame key confluent levels for longs or shorts, right? Or just trades in general. This is all garbage. And I say this, right? If you go to any stream during this price action, guys, this is garbage, tough price action to trade. I haven't taken a lot of trades in here. I got stopped out twice on the 2 trades I did take. But what happened? We just sat on our hands and really waited for the key level here, which was the 786. Well. We hit the level. We took the trade on a high confluence level with confirmation, and it actually played out. We had another higher probability trade up here. Well, look at that. It wound up playing out. Right? All these longs, on the low probability longs, which I would classify, again, remember, there's not a lot of levels down here. We have the value area low here, no confirmation, low probability. We sit it out. We get the continuation down. We sit on our hands. Sure, you might be feeling like, oh, man, I missed the move, right? But for the most part, you want to wait for those next levels, and we come down to that level, and you get the bounce. Absolutely beautiful. Let's see. Bada boom, bada bing. Shout out to Crespo Crypto. Says, I only trade altcoins against their BTC pairs rather than USD pairs, and it's better. Thoughts? Any BTC pair strategies? Not really. For the most part, when I'm trading, I mean, to be honest with you guys, obviously we do trade the altcoins when the setups are there. But for the most part, I trade mostly Bitcoin, especially on leverage, right? Like I stick mostly to Bitcoin. Again, we do trade altcoins as well. I at least put setups in there. I personally just stick to Bitcoin, especially if you're new to trading. I'm not saying Crespo, you are. But when it comes to like learning how to trade, stick to one asset. It's very easy in crypto to get in here, learn how to trade, and you all of a sudden you want to like just trade every altcoin. Get on Bitcoin, right? Number one, it's the market leader. So you kind of like, you could see a fire setup on an altcoin. And if Bitcoin's going to dump and you're not keeping an eye on Bitcoin, that long setup on your altcoin is probably not going to play out if Bitcoin dumps the bet, right? So that's just a reason why I do stick to Bitcoin, especially if you're new. So unless there's like good setups on the altcoins, I typically stick there on Bitcoin. But I usually just trade BTC USD. When I trade the altcoins, it's really just the USDT pair. So not really. It's just not something I typically do. I'm not saying it's bad. It's probably good. But yeah, I don't really have a strong opinion in one way or the other. Shout out to Crespo. I wish I could give you a better answer, but I just don't really have much input, to be quite honest. But shout out to you, bro. Yeah, you probably are better off doing that, to be quite honest, if you want my opinion. But yeah, let's see. Don't blame the rain for coming down. I actually love that saying, bro. Shout out to Marek. Let's see. Shout out to Affin. I don't know how to say your full name, but he says, Frankie Candles, man, got wrecked. All gone, brother. I really need to learn what you do. Lost 60K. That's all I had. RIP. Only got 5K left. I need to trade it up. Any help? Oh, man. So it depends on your experience level, brother. I'll be quite honest with you. If you just took a big loss, honestly, the last thing I would point you to is short-term trading. And I know that sounds kind of like an oxymoron here on the Frank Candles YouTube channel, but I feel like I have a responsibility. If you just lost a lot of money, the answer is very likely not to throw it into an exchange and try to day trade your way back up. Is it impossible to do? No. It depends on your experience level. If you are a beginner trader, I would not expect to dump 5K into an account and grow it. As a matter of fact, whatever capital you have to put into a trading account in the beginning while you're learning, I would give people the expectation of probably losing that money while learning from mistakes. So I know that's probably not what you want to hear, bro, but it's the honest truth. I can't in good faith point you in the direction, especially if you're a beginner trader, and be like, you lost 60K, throw the rest of the money in a trading account, and you're going to be able to easily grow it back up to 60K. It's definitely possible to do with trading, but if you're just starting off, it's going to take you a long time to learn the skill of trading. So what I would recommend is, it's hard. It's hard to give a direct recommendation there, but the last thing I would do, right, if I had a close friend or family member come to me, like, I just lost money, bro. I see you make money trading. I want to do what you're doing. I need to get this money back. It's going to be an emotional nightmare because you're very likely to start losing money at first, and you're already going into trading with the idea or at risk of revenge trading, trying to get your money back. So I know that's not what you want to hear, bro. But I have to be honest with you. So it's a little bit, it's a little bit of a rough situation to be in. That doesn't mean don't learn how to trade. I would definitely recommend you learn how to trade. That way, if we do go into a bear market, or it's obviously a high income skill. But I would probably, recommend the boring answer to that. Maybe dump, not financial advice, but if I were in your case, in your situation, if I were asking myself 5 years ago, 6 years ago, what I would do in that situation, I would probably tell my younger self, grab that $5,000, buy a, either just throw it in Bitcoin, throw it in a, high cap, high conviction altcoin, right? A reliable altcoin, and just let it sit for a long time, and then learn how to trade on the side, and only invest when you're learning how to trade, guys. Only put the money you're willing to lose into that trading account. I would scream that. I scream this from the rooftops. Don't put your life savings into a trading account when you're looking to learn. It's not a lot of people like to tell, oh, yeah, just follow my YouTube channel. You're going to get rich overnight. Now, obviously, we call fire levels. All you have to do is watch the stream from earlier today to now. And, we show the trades live. It's possible to make money, but it takes time. It's not a get-rich-quick scheme, although that might benefit our YouTube views for me to say. It might benefit our Discord signups to say. I'm not in it for a fast cash grab. It's rare in crypto, guys, but I'm not here for a fast cash grab. I'm here for the long term. I'm here to help people through their trading journey to learn how to actually make money, not sell them a fake get-rich-quick scheme. It takes a long time to get to the point where it feels like that. So hopefully that honest advice helps you out, bro. But yeah, it's a rough situation. I feel bad, bro. I'm sorry to hear that. Let's see. Yeah, shout out to Deadman said, seriously, Spot has saved me this market. Yeah, absolutely. For me, most of my money's in Spot, right? I take a small amount of my capital and I day trade that up and I roll those profits over. Let's see. Shout out to Colin said, best effing advice. I will unhide that. I will just so I can read it. But yeah, thank you guys for catching that. But yeah, best effing advice I have heard from a YouTube, aside from CryptoFace. Shout out to CryptoFace. There is a video about spider lines and kamikaze trading. Yeah, go check that out. Yeah, revenge trading or kamikaze trading, like you like. Emotions are your worst nightmare in this market, guys. 100%. And after a big loss like that, I would never send somebody to a leverage exchange without the proper knowledge. And that takes a long time to learn, right? It's definitely, you could get rich trading, right? But you have to take the right steps. If you go in there trying to get rich overnight, you're going to lose all your money. I say that because I thought that too. I thought I was going to get rich overnight too, guys. But it took me a long time. And I just will not lie on my YouTube channel for clicks. I just won't do it. I don't care. I really don't. I'd rather be myself and genuinely help people and have a community that actually finds value. That's why, that's probably why we have such a great community, because we actually give real value. We don't just give false promises. So there you go. Let's see. Could we pull it back as low as 72K and still be bullish? That's a great question. Shout out to Darren. Not Darren Does Things, but Darren O'Brien. He says, could you please take a look, mate, and technicals at that level? Yeah, absolutely. This is actually something, shout out to Darren. If you are new here, make sure you subscribe, because we've been talking about this level for a while, but I will go over it with you, right? Next big level, 80 to 3K, right? Again, I'm not going to go over everything just to not beat the dead horse, but if we lose 80K, the next place for price to likely go, right? If you come down and you're looking for higher lows, you're not going to expect that higher low to come. You're going to expect the higher low to hopefully come in on the golden pocket or the 786. If you lose the golden pocket, the next likely place for price to go, if you don't hold the daily naked point of control down here, is going to be the 786 retracement, which is sitting at about 75K, which is, I think, what you said, or 72K, right? So this range is we have a CME gap. We also have the 786. Do we have anything else? Let me pull it in here. You have a weekly naked point of control. So that's about it, right? You have 786, weekly naked point of control. No daily naked points of controls down there? Dang. Oh, yeah, you do have daily naked point of control at the top. I didn't see that, right? So just to show this, right? You lose that golden pocket, come down to the 786, daily naked point of control, weekly naked point of control, and we also have that CME gap. So, it is possible if we lose that golden pocket and we don't hold the, we could come into this zone. I personally... And again, guys, like, you might think like, well, this guy, Frankie Candles, is looking at 80K and he's still bullish. What is this guy, crazy? I'm just a trader and understand how the charts work. Very often, guys, you will see traders get flamed, right? Because, we are oftentimes, a majority of the market is getting bullish at the worst time, right? They're getting bullish on pumps, where a trader, a technical analyst, is getting bearish, right? Because we understand how the market moves. So oftentimes when we're looking for shorts, a lot of times people are like, dude, what are you, crazy? Why are you shorting? You were in a bull market, number one. Number two, we're pumping. Why are you shorting? And the answer to that question is exactly. That's why I'm shorting, right? That is like what you just said. What that person just says is why I'm shorting, right? Because that's literally, you're doing the opposite of what everyone else is doing. And it's not just that I see everyone's bullish, that's where I'm shorting, right? It just happens to be that's where the technical setups are, right? You want to short the highs. I don't short, right? Like, you'll just understand. I'll pull up my short positions right now just to show you, right? My first short position is from 102K. Notice I'm not FOMO shorting on the dump, right? Notice I'm not FOMO shorting on the way down. Notice I wait for a bounce to take the short, right? My short is after we pump, then I take the short. Not we're dumping and I'm taking a short. If I dump down here, I'm taking a long, right? So you're naturally going to have people calling you crazy. You're stupid, bro. It's a bull market. Why would you short? Well, it's like, because I've been making money doing this, and this is how I do it, right? And if it's working, I'm going to keep doing it, right? And it's just general, right? I'm not the only person who, any real trader or technical analyst will tell you the same thing, right? But where's my other short from? Was I entering panic shorts on these lows? Absolutely not. I'm not shorting here. I'm not shorting here. I'm not shorting here. I'm not shorting here. As a matter of fact, I just did it again. I am long from here. People might be saying, why are you long and you're crazy? It's like, well, hey, I understand the context of the market. I understand we're probably going to bounce here, and we're already up $1,600, right, for the day, right? Not counting the short. That's up over $5,000, right? And the other short that's up, I think, $4,000. Actually, let me check that one. Let's see. But the idea here is, or that one's up like 3K. So I'm not, and where's my other short from, right? Let's pull it up. It's after a pump to the upside, right? I'm not panic shorting here. As a matter of fact, guess what? We long that in the premium, right? People might be like, oh, we're obviously going to break down why are you longing, right? So, that's kind of, let me see here. So at the end of the day, right, you might be thinking to yourself, well, this guy's crazy. Why would he be longing, at those big levels? And I'll just tell you this. If we come down there, guys, and I look for longs, people are going to be like, this guy's an idiot. Clearly, we're in a bear market. Why are you longing here? And just take what I just showed you here as evidence of like why I would be bullish. I don't care if everybody's bearish here. As a matter of fact, I know everyone's going to be bearish here, right? But they're going to be bearish at the wrong time, right? Now, again, that doesn't mean if we come in here and we have bearish signs, right, there's no reason to take a long. I'm not going to take the long, right? I'm going to sit here and wait for the lower level, which technically will be coming in. I forgot who said it, but shout out to you, brother. That's the next level between about 76 and $73,500. Now, I genuinely don't like this level, right? We have the CME gap down there. Sure, if we hit this, I want to bounce off the top here. I want to bounce off the 786/765 at the daily naked point of control, right? I want to bounce off the top. If we start playing in here, that's where I start to get worried, right? Because at that point, right, you could potentially come back into this larger range. Once you get accepted into this larger range, you have the possibility of breaking down even further. So I do have an area where I do kind of call off my bullish sentiment, right? But as of right now, like, don't get it twisted. There's no emotion here, right? I'm not like hoping that the bull market's going to continue. I don't care if the bull market continues, right? I bought number one super low, right? So I have an opportunity to get out of my bags still in profit, right? At least for Bitcoin. A lot of alts, I'm still crushed on some alts. Like, don't get it, don't get it twisted, right? Like I am down on alts. I'm not like just even if you were buying alts at a really good time, like in the bear market, some of these are back down to their bear market lows. So I am still feeling the pain there a little bit, but I'm not just getting bullish. I'm not just going to be bullish down here for no reason, right? Because if we come down here, this is where things get a little bit shady. And chances are, if we come down here and we get a bounce and the market looks like trash, right? I might even look for a retracement, like I said earlier today, to get out of my spot bags on a retracement and then just, in anticipation of a bigger dump. But we have to let price action kind of develop. But I really don't want to come down to the lower end of this box. That's the danger zone for me, right? And we have the anchored VWAP over here, pulled from the low, right? So like this, I really want to hold this level ideally. I would love this, right? I feel really good about something like that potentially happening, right? But if we start breaking that, right, this is where, like, we really got to get going off the top here. We start breaking in here, I'm not a fan of that. That's where I'm sitting here like, guys, maybe the top is in. And then hopefully we just get pleasantly surprised. But if not, depending on what things look like, it's an if this, then that statement. If we come down to this golden pocket and it looks super bullish, then I'm definitely taking it long. If I come down here and it looks like garbage, I'm probably sitting on my hands. Just like when we came down to the value area low. We come down here, it kind of looked like trash. So I don't take the long position, even though we had been waiting for this level forever in the Discord for a long. No signal, no entry confirmations, no trade. What happens? We get the drop down. and we capitalize on the short continuing to pay us out. So yeah, definitely possible to come into those lower levels. I prefer not to do it. I would not feel as, here, everyone's freaking out. I'm kind of chilling. If we come down here, everyone's freaking out, and I'm starting to be like, yeah, that's, we don't want to lose this. That's for sure. So yeah, but I'll be here to walk you guys through every step of the way. We'll be here every weekday. So yeah. But anyway, let's continue on here. Hey, shout out to C7, said the CME gap at $93,500. Good confluence of the golden pocket for a retracement on the short. C7, let's go, baby. Shout out to C7. I love that, bro. I love that. Absolutely. $93,000 is 100% beautiful confluence with the golden pocket up here. Fill the CME gap potentially, and then send her to 80K. Definitely a plausible scenario. C7, I probably won't remember. I look at so many scenarios, and, obviously I have the ones that I'm playing, which would be a golden pocket retracement. But if we do that and we reject, just remind me that we had that CME gap up there. Bada boom, bada boom. Let's see. Shout out to Wick589. Thank you so much for the super chat. We're going to jump into the altcoins in a minute here, guys. Says, was there ever similar macro price movement in previous bull runs you feel is similar, or is this brand new action? Shout out to Wick. Great question, bro. At the end, simple answer, this is obviously all new action. We're always going to see stuff play out a little bit differently. But, it's hard. Price action is fractal, right? So, we see moves like this. To be quite honest, this, right, and again, price action is fractal, meaning that this structure can be the same as another structure that took place over a longer period of time. So this structure kind of reminds me of this structure, right? Kind of reminds me of this. Some people would call it a double top. I would call it a liquidity sweep, right? So again, this obviously took a lot longer to play out, but the fractal is very similar. So if I just go ahead and grab this, right, and I'll even make it a little scary here. This is somewhat similar price action, right? Now I wouldn't trade based off this, but if I went ahead and made this small enough to fit in here, it's funny, can't make it up. Look at that, brings it right down to the golden pocket. But this actually reminds me, look how similar this is. I love that you asked that question, Wick. Shout out to you, bro. One of the best poets out there, guys. He's also a famous poet. So this structure is almost identical, right? We come up. We kind of teeter out here. We put in some bear divs. Big old dump to the downside, right? We get a little retracement, another little dump, a push up to sweep the liquidity above the highs, which we did indeed get on that wick, right? Sweep that liquidity, and then you break down. Very, 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 very similar price action. And in this case, this would be bringing you down to, call it, again, I wouldn't measure this and say, oh my God, this isn't like a technical target or anything. But you could just see, right? It's like before the bigger breakdown, this does bring you into this blue zone, right? So again, the context is very important, right? Like this is different in 2021. This was like a long accumulation, like super long. And it happened over a different period of time. But the structure is very, very, very similar, if you ask me. So is it going to be an identical top forever? Maybe not, right? This is not as large of a, this obviously isn't as macro of a distribution, right? Or this isn't as macro of a distribution as this was. But the price action is very similar. Like the structure is very similar. The fractal is almost identical. So yeah, shout out to Wick. That's almost exactly, right? And then again, same thing, right? We also have weekly bearish divergences up here, which we also had back here. Charts are magic, guys, right? Weekly bearish divergence, higher highs, lower highs, right? And then you also had that liquidity sweep. Very, very similar. I would call this weekly bear div with the weekly money flow coming out much more bearish than this one is, but you do have it, right? This one's to your wicks. Higher highs on your price action, lower highs on your momentum waves. Money flow technically coming out. So yeah, very, very similar. Almost identical, not only structure-wise, but also like the way the signals that we were getting. But again, it's I wouldn't classify it exactly the same because of the difference in time that it took to play out, right? The significance of the structure. So there we go. Yeah, looks exactly the same. Shout out to Magma. Absolutely, bro. Absolutely. Wick found that. Nice. Shout out to French Toaster. Yeah, shout out to Boom Select. This is what I'm thinking. 94K, then dump. Very, very in line with what we're looking at here. Very, very in line. If we get the bigger pump, this would be the more bullish of the bearish scenarios, right? We get the push up all the way into the value area low, into the range, into the golden pocket, and then send it, which again is very close to that CME gap as well. Let's see this real quick before we move into the alts. Futures, CME. Yep, there's that gap. Right there, 93K. Almost 94. It's literally identical. It's like super, super beautifully confluent there. So maybe you come up, fill the gap, send it to 0. But this would be the more bullish scenario. We do have those more local levels that we looked at earlier in the stream that we could still reject. So just keep that in mind. So there you go, right? Local fibs in here. You know, if we start an aggressive downtrend, right, you're not always going to come up for that bigger fib. But definitely those are going to be the higher time frame levels if we get the continuation up. So there we go. Let's see. Bada boom, bada bing. Let's see. I only use candle bodies for divergences, especially RSI divs. Yeah, shout out to Road Dog. I agree with you. I prefer my divergences to be. I give divergences to the bodies of the candles more significance over the wicks. They are still divergences, right? Because wicks still represent price action, but I do like to see them to the bodies more. I put a little bit more emphasis on those divs. I agree with you. So send it to 0, basically. Shout out to Gen Z. Yeah, send it to 8-0 and then send it to 120K is my thought. Again, it's not that binary, right? There's a lot of stuff that has to happen, but that's kind of what I'm looking at. But let's take a look. Quick look at Ethereum here, guys. Let's take a look, right? Again, I did not take the long on Ethereum, but again, you know, you watch these live streams, guys. We'll see what happens. We pulled into the POC where let me change the context here a little bit. Let's come up to the daily. I'll start on the higher time frames. I don't want to overwhelm people with stuff here. Hide the daily naked points of controls. Let's see. Hold me, Frankie. I will be destroyed if Bitcoin goes to 76K. Shout out to Spaceland. I'll be here, brother. I'll be here for you. Yeah. Shout out to Bison said, oh, and Papa Jerome needs to cut those rates. Yeah, remember that, guys. You know, we're in extreme fear. You know, we get that next FOMC, they start cutting rates. That might be what we need. Remember, looser monetary policy is a condition that has been met in every single other bull run that we've had, where we've had massive blow-off tops on the altcoins and everything like that. If we do not get that, that is a huge condition that is not being met for this bull run, which could totally change the overall way that this bull run is going to play out. We need the QE. Bottom line, we've never had a macro bull run without QE, right? So keep that in mind. But anyway, let's see. Shout out to Creighton C said, money flow hits in waves. Daily is the initial major dump. Then you get some bounce, and then the 2-day brings you down. Then 3-5 weekly. By the time the weekly goes red, you are down 40 to 50%. Yes, absolutely. That's shout out to Creighton. I love that. You look at the lower, like contextually, if you're looking at the high time frames, you start on the lower of those high time frames, which would be the daily, in my opinion, to get the early signal of the money flow coming out. Because Ethereum's a perfect example. Money flow crossed over right here on the daily before you got the dump down. Where's the 2-day crossover? 2-day hasn't even crossed over yet, right? So if you're looking for shorts on Ethereum, right, getting in on the daily money flow crossover, even though the 2-day was coming out, the daily's the earlier signal. So absolutely. And then that 2-day continues to roll you over, right? So yeah, if you were short up here, you know, maybe like, let's say you were looking for a short up here, you shorted the retracement. You know, this getting in here for a short would have been beautiful, right? Continuing down. If that 2-day money flow brings you down for a massive, massive drop, you know, again, there's the 2-day rolling over on top of the daily money flow, continuing to press price down. I love that. Shout out to Dave Digital. What is going on? Said Doge about to give us 5K. Shout out to Dave Digital. That would be nice. That would be nice. A little liquidity injection into the personal pockets of the people. Maybe everybody just dump that into crypto. I would love that. That would be really nice. But anyway, taking a look at Ethereum here. Let's pull up the let me pull up the range, not the macro range. We'll pull up the May range, right? So what do we say here on Ethereum for the past couple of weeks? I don't like Ethereum trades in this choppy range, right? And I will just get rid of this because these are older. I don't like Ethereum in this range, right? This is low probability trading in my opinion. Now, if we get the breakdown, and lose the value area low, this would be the area I'd be interested in for a potential bounce. Because down here, we actually have some confluence. We have a golden pocket just below the value area low. So you lose the value area low, potentially get a push into the golden pocket. We could potentially get a bounce, get back into the range, and then send it a little bit higher. Now, obviously, I would be leaning in a similar fashion with Ethereum as I am on Bitcoin, right? We have to be careful of the last, especially with the 2-day money flow crossover into the red, or looking to cross over into the red, rather. It came back into the green, but it's quickly turning over with the fresh red dot. If we could get a daily bullish divergence here, right, it's probably going to take some time to print, but put the lower low in. We literally drew this exact line on the chart on these live streams. Deviate below the range, come into the golden pocket 786. Maybe we can get a little bit of a daily bull div in there. Now, I know you have the wick here, but this wick is insane, right? Technically, this is a higher low, not a lower low. But it's, you know, if you're pulling it, no, actually not even really. Yeah, I guess if you're pulling it from the tip of the momentum wave, you know, this wick is insane. This has a lot of liquidity here. But if you're going from like the bottom of the wave here, you could be looking at these candles, potential bull div on the daily into the golden pocket. But again, this isn't quite printing yet, so I wouldn't take that to the bank. This would be more of a signal I would look at that, you know, if we get in here and we start pushing up and that div starts printing, it would just be more of a sign of like, hey, maybe this is a nice little bottom where we can get a little bigger of a push up. But, you know, we're getting the bounce right from that key level, right? But as of right now, you know, let's pull our fib from the high to the low here. You know, at this point on Ethereum, you know, your best bet, if we were looking at this bounce right here, I'd say, hey, keep resistance at the value area low, get above here, look to come into the value area low of the local range, which is kind of confluent with your golden pocket. Not really. Levels are kind of gross here, to be quite honest with you. But let's see here. Let me see if I could pull a local fib. Yeah, I'd probably be more inclined to look at this local fib first. But this is definitely the bigger, more significant level. Let me see something here. Let me pull up the daily time frame. Yeah, we have no dailies in there. I mean, right now the level to get above is $2,500, right? Somewhat of a psychological level as well. So this is going to be resistance until proven otherwise. Flip that value area low. I'd look for a move into the POC value area low of the local range, which is sitting here between $2,622 and $2,600, right? Get above that. You could potentially work into this local range, right? Hold above the POC, you can get a potentially bigger move up, which is where I would look at that Fibonacci retracement, right? Maybe, you know, again, local levels, golden pocket, 786. But for the most part, if you're looking at this from a volume profile perspective, hold the low, look to start your journey up towards the value area high, right? Which sits at $2,800. It's like $2,798. But just understand that fib level is there. And if we're looking for lower highs and lower lows, these are the potential areas to do it on, right? For the bigger levels, right? Obviously, we could reject the value area low, etc. But, you know, I do think, again, you know, come on down to these lower time frames here. You know, money flow trying to come up on the 30-minute, money flow trying to come up on the 45-minute. 4-hour, green dot is confirmed, money flow trying to come back up. 8-hour, green dot looking to print. So, you know, you see this low time frame money flow continue up with the green dots on the higher time frames. We could easily get a little bit of a relief rally here. But that is exactly what I'll look at it as, a relief rally. So there you go. That's the key levels I'll be looking at on Ethereum. And, yeah, for the most part, Market Cipher B remains pretty similar to everything else. Oh, God, there's that 2-day money flow crossover. Just confirm that candle. And there's the money flow crossover. So at this point, it's got to be looked at as lackluster retracements to the upside, lower highs and lower lows, which I would actually love. I really would prefer to come down here for bigger long positions on ETH, but we definitely came down to key support, and we are getting the bounce. So that's what I'd be looking at. Get above 2,500. You could potentially start working your way back up towards that fib at 2,650. Let's see. Shout out to Wick, said the 5 stages of grief: anger, bargaining, I think is what that says, depression, and acceptance. But crypto holders never seem to grow out of denial. Yes. Shout out to Wick589. That's probably the toughest one to let go of in crypto for most people. Shout out to JCR, says, I'm struggling with finding a balance between knife catching and getting into the trade too late. Seems like the 4-hour green dot prints and the trade entry is long gone. But low time frame bull divs effing me. Shout out to JCR. I would say if those abbreviations are right, 4-hour green dots, it's very, very, very hard. This is why, a lot of people think that you could just wait for a green dot and long. This is very difficult to do because if your green dot prints, right, especially if you're waiting for it to confirm, by the time that 4-hour green dot confirms, you already have a bunch of the move up, right? If you entered on the confirmation of that green dot on the 4-hour, you already got the whole move up, right, or the whole local move up. Now, this is where, or did I say this was Bitcoin? This is obviously Ethereum. But the way I combat that is if I were looking for a long here on Ethereum, let's see if I would have taken a long here on Ethereum, right? All right, so you have your VWAP coming up, right? I'll walk you guys through how I would look for a trade on here, right? Let's give you a little live walkthrough, right? So I'm looking at this and I'm saying, all right, money flow's crossing into the red in the 4-hour, right? So I don't love that, right? But it doesn't mean that this green dot, I would expect this green dot to give me some kind of a bounce, right? Why? Because we came into our key support zone, right? This VWAP, oftentimes a green dot on the 4-hour, will give you a move up, although it's not the best signal to enter off of. It could signal a move up, and this is why I want to front run before this green dot's even printing. I see the VWAP. The direction of the VWAP is coming up, so I'm anticipating that green dot to come in. Well, if I'm anticipating that green dot to come in, how could I look for an entry here? This is where I would go down to a lower time frame to find my entry. So maybe you come down to the 1-hour. What's the 1-hour doing? Do we have any bull divs? Well, hey, now I'm looking here. Look at this. Higher lows on your momentum waves, right? Higher lows on your momentum waves. Lower lows on your price, right? So you have a 1-hour bull div, which is already confirmed. That already give you a little push up, right? So even if you entered based off the confirmation of the 1-hour bull div, you're getting in earlier, right? Before you get the bigger move up, and you're front running the green dot. But I would still say you're a little bit late here. I'd probably be looking as you're pushing down to get a better sniper entry. But there you go, right? You go to the 1-hour, bull div confirmed. That's a nice thought that you could continue up, right? Now let's come to a lower time frame. Let's look at the 30-minute. 30-minute bull div confirmed as well. So this is, I'm not going to go over all the entry confirmations because they change from trade to trade, whether you're looking at a swing failure pattern, coming into a golden pocket. I look for different confirmations based off the trade. You're not always going to be looking for swing failure patterns. You're not always... I kind of always look for divergences. I look at it because they oftentimes pop up regardless of the setup. Even when you get an SFP, if it's accompanied by a divergence, it just gives a little bit of like extra sauce to the trade, right? But if you see that 4-hour red dot, green dot incoming, right? I'll even come back in time a little bit more so we can front run this a little better, right? So let's say before this green dot printed, right? You still see that you have your VWAP coming up, right? That VWAP could print a green dot, right? So you can anticipate, well, hey, if this VWAP continues up, I'm looking for a little bounce or a retracement to the upside. Come to the 1-hour, right? And you're saying, well, hey, this could be printing a bull div. This is just how I do it, right? I could say, well, hey, if this prints a bull div, that would be nice. How can I front run this bull div? Let's go down another time frame or another set of time frames. Let's look at the 30-minute. Well, hey, this 30-minute is looking like it's printing a bull div. Lower lows on our price action. I like this more when you're into a key level, which, by the way, you were coming into a key level right here. You pixel wicked the it's like a pistol whip, but it's a pixel whip. Pixel wick. You came right into the POC of the macro range, right? Very key level, right? So you have a key level, lower lows on your price action, higher lows on your momentum waves, VWAP starting to curve up. Now, you're like, well, hey, this bull div looks like it might print on the 30-minute. Now you're getting a much better entry, right? Let's go down even more. 15-minute. 15-minute, no bull div, unfortunately. Yeah, it's like an exaggerated bull div, I guess you could call it. Equal lows. That's technically a div. But if this was a clean bull div about to print that green dot, that's pretty nice, right? Because you have the confirmation of the 15-minute green dot. That's nice, right? You know the 30 minutes looking like it wants to print one too. It also looks like the 1-hour might print one, right? So that's how you can go down to the lower time frames and find a better entry, right? And you could even bring this down to the 1-minute. Maybe get a 1-minute bullish divergence. Did you? You did, right? Yeah, the 1-minute bull div, that would have gotten you a super bottom tick entry, right? But really, like if you really want to catch a knife and snipe the lows, for me personally, the way I would do that is by looking at exo charts or looking at the order flow or on a swing failure pattern. Typically, when we catch like a bottom tick, it's on a swing failure pattern. Honestly, with a lot of these extra confirmations as well. I see this SFP forming on maybe a 30-minute, and then I go down to the 1-minute, and I try to catch 1-minute bull divs. Go watch the beginner series. I have a video showing exactly how I trade SFPs. Go watch that. It'll help you get much better entries on your trades. So there we go. Let's see. Shout out to Playboy George says, woohoo, baby, let's go. Shout out to Playboy George. Welcome in, bro. Yeah, shout out to Justice Sub says, if you're new to trading, do not trade alts. Please trade Bitcoin as a newbie. Alts follow Bitcoin more than 50% of the time, so it's always a wonder if it will follow Bitcoin or its own pattern. Shout out to Justice. I literally just said that earlier in the stream, so thank you for saying that because I 100% agree with that. Give me some comfort in this market. Hello, peeps. Shout out to Schmitty. Schmitty, it's gonna be all right. Even if we go into a bear market, it's still going to be all right, brother. It's still going to be all right because we're going to make money on those shorts to the downside. I'm stuck on a short at 87K. Shout out to Dark Zen. Shout out to Dark Zen. I don't know how to say that. But stuck in a short. I want to take a look at some of these other alts, but stuck in a short at 87K. Let's take a look at it. Guys, I just lost my mind. I was like, am I tripping right now? Bitcoin hit the daily at 87,437. How is it not there? Still in bar replay mode. But there we go. All right. So let's see. Let's get off the 1 minute. So, yeah, 87. Zen, I'll just say this, right? You caught a short right at a support level, which is totally okay, bro. I mean, you don't want to continue to do that, but it's all right, right? Like, you're going to make mistakes. Don't feel bad about it. And at the end of the day, technically you could have lost that support, but this is kind of what I was talking about, where you don't want to short as price is dumping to the downside, right? Sometimes if you short as price goes to the downside, you'll catch a move, but it's not a profitable way to consistently trade, right? Even here, if you were shorting the bottom here, if you're using any type of risk management, I mean, at this point, on this dump, your stop loss would really have to be above one of these highs. But, even then, right, you enter the short on the dump, you're going immediately into drawdown. What you want to do is short on pumps, right? So, sometimes you're just going to get caught in a bad trade. It's not uncommon. But, after this, like the only way I can kind of give you some insight is, for me personally, not only were you coming down to a daily, which is key support, you do not want to short a key support. All right, even if you deviate below, a lot of times price will kind of wick through levels and play around, right? It's never going to be an exact tap, or it won't oftentimes be an exact tap. So you will play around with these levels, right? And so just like, there's no reality for me to short after this big dump. So just take that for what it's worth. If you're out there looking for shorts, don't short as price is coming down. Just simply be patient and wait to short when price goes up. And I know you probably know that, but just, but yeah, it's hard to say. It's hard to say. In my own personal opinion, right? I mean, let's see here, 30-minute red dot printing. Maybe we get a little bit more of a cool off here. But the way money flow looks right now, let's see the 24-minute, kind of coming out. But we're hoping, right, for the move up. I'm hoping that this can round to the upside. The reason I'm looking for that is because our 8-hour green dot is now printing, right? Or was about to print. Now it's printing now that we look at it, right? So, maybe we get a little more turbulence. Maybe we get a little bit more of a push to the downside. Maybe we dump from here, right? This is why I can't tell people what to do with their trades, right? Because if I tell you the high probability scenario I'm looking at, and that doesn't happen to be the one that plays out, people are going to get mad, right? You told me, right? But for me personally, I would love to see this cool us off a little bit more. And if we could hold higher lows, stay above this daily, most importantly, I would look to hold that, see the green dot confirm on the 8-hour with the money flow, crossing into the green on the 30-minute and 24-minute for a continuation of a little relief rally. And if we break these highs here, we could potentially start squeezing the tons of shorts that opened here on the way down, right? Because think about it this way. So there you go, right? I never recommend just holding a losing trade, hoping for it to go back in your direction. Me personally, I would love a continuation to the upside. Maybe it pulls us down a little bit more. So, for your sake, hopefully that doesn't play out. Hopefully it just nukes down and you can go back into profit. But yeah, think about it this way, right? If we have liquidity sitting above these highs, right? If people are shorting down here, right? If I were to enter a short down here, I'll show you how I would do it, and most people would do it, right? If I were entering a short down here, where would my stop loss go? If I was panic shorting here, where would my stop loss go? Probably above this high, right? You're probably targeting 0. And then if you enter a short down here, right? Let's say we enter a short down here. Where's your stop loss probably going to go? A lot of stop losses above the high, right? And you also have stop losses all in between. But if you're shorting the low, where's your stop loss going to go? It's going to probably go above this high or maybe even this high, right? So that puts a lot of liquidity above these highs, right? Now people shorting here, where are those stop losses going to be? They're probably going to be above that high too. So if we come here and all those stop losses are sitting there. That's all liquidity is. When I reference liquidity, all I'm talking about is stop losses and liquidation levels in the market. If I know there's stops here, there's stops here, there's stops here, and they're short stop losses, and I know when you get stopped out or liquidated out of a short position, that creates market buy pressure, right? Well, that's where you see the cascade of the short squeeze. So that's kind of what I'm hoping for. Let's hope we can hold the higher lows, hold above the daily, even if we go retest it, and then squeeze those shorts up to some of these bigger levels with the 8-hour, 30-minute money flow crossover into the green. That market cipher B116 strategy. Hard to say, right? Maybe it doesn't play out and we just nuke to the floor, but that's what I'm looking for. So it's hard to say. I hope it dumps from here, and maybe it will. But that's kind of what I'm playing, right? Those are both the scenarios. Obviously, it could go up or it could go down based off the money flow in the lower time frames and the 8-hour green dot. I'm looking to hold above the daily and continue up. So yeah, hopefully that helps you out. Let's see. What do you think Asia can do now? I don't know. Shout out to Jacob. Interesting spelling, but shout out to Jacob. I like that spelling. But yeah, I will say this, right? An easy way to protect yourself, right, is, again, this is why you don't really want to short on big drops to the downside. A way to not be in the position you're in right now. Number one, you understand supports here. You do not short support. Me personally, that's my personal rules. But if I short here, right, again, your stop loss has to go above. As long as you have your stop loss set as 1% risk, right? Not 1% here, but if you get stopped out here, as long as you're only risking 1% of your account. So if you get stopped out, you only lose $1 out of a $100 account. But if I were shorting down here, say on just the dump here, right? Your stop loss, right? I assume maybe you were in a situation where you saw the loss of the daily. Maybe you didn't even know the daily was there. I don't know. But if you were shorting, say the loss of this level, for example. Let's say, right, I'm not saying you can't just short on a move down. You could totally short on a move down, but a way to do that would be to wait for a retracement into a key level to catch a short. So let's just say you had a key level here. You look to enter your short position on that key level. Let me come into bar replay mode to explain this a little bit. Right? So let's say you wait for that retracement. You're like, I'm going to short the bearish retest of this daily. Let's say you get an entry right here. You don't want to put your stop loss up here. This is a garbage stop loss. But that's kind of where it has to be. Right? You can put your stop loss there. You just have to lower your position size. So if you get stopped out here, you're only going to lose 1% of your account. But what you could do is take an aggressive short entry with a tight stop loss above that wick. That way, if price goes against you, right? Let's see, like, well, hey, I was right. Hey, and now if you lose this daily, right? And this was the bearish retest. This looks like it's playing out nicely. And this thing dumps down to 80K. You get a nice short trade, but you're protecting yourself here because if price gets a big rip to the upside, you're just out of the trade for a small loss. Right, you just take that small loss. So maybe you had a decent opportunity for a move down, but if you get stopped out, you get stopped out at a small loss. That way, when you're sitting up at the higher prices, you're not sitting here completely wrecked underwater. So there you go. Best information I could give. Let's see. Derelict said, I have a lemon tree with so many dang lemons. I wish I can give them to the mafia. Shout out to Derelict. Send us some lemons, baby. Let's go. Okay, so let's continue on. We took a look at Ethereum. Let's take a quick look at XRP, guys, because we already took a look at Solana earlier today. You guys can check the stream and scrub to where you see the Solana. But, Solana, again, basically, again, I hate to say it like we called this to a T, right? Because it's like, I don't know. I think it's like, I hate saying that, right? I don't know. I don't know what I'm trying to say. But obviously we knew if we got stuck inside this range, guys, we were looking for the move down to the 786 POC. If we lost that POC, we were looking for our next move down here. So what we were looking at last night. For a potential move to the lose the POC, look for the move down to our next key level. I'll be honest, I don't love the low here, just like I didn't love the low here, or I didn't love the low here, here on Bitcoin, right? On Solana, I'll be honest, I would much rather, could we get a relief? I talked about this earlier. I'll just give a simple analysis here. If we hold above the POC, get above the 786, we could get that relief up to this level here, which is sitting at about 170.52 and 161.74. So, that's kind of the biggest level I would watch. If you start breaking out of the value area high 786, I would look to come up to the golden pocket at 182. And the 786 value area low confluence at 192. I think this is more likely than this at this current moment. But I would prefer for big longs on Solana. Sure, you could have caught a scalp here, but I would prefer to see these lower levels on Solana, to be honest. Daily value area low and another daily sitting right here between about 131.79 and 124.76. So that's your key level of support to the downside. Key level to get above here would be the 786 level at 148.83 for a move up here to about $162 up to $170. But you're basically, regardless of all those intermediary levels, guys, you're just within the range. You lose the value area high, you look to go to the POC, lose the POC, look to go to the value area low. We have not hit that yet. So you're just within this range now. So I'm going to be looking for those levels to get respected. Daily green dot looking to print here. No bullish divergence, but that could help you with the little retracement to the upside. Taking a look at XRP. Shout out to the XRP army. Drop those X's in the chat if you're in the XRP army. Let's see. What's the next POC below us, Frankie? Shout out to Blake Smith. On what? On Bitcoin? Bitcoin, yeah, in the low 80s. Let's see. Look at Sui. Let's take a look at Sui. Shout out to Izzy. Says LFG. Frankie, shout out to you, brother. Shout out to Sheesh. Said we don't like XRP here. Sorry. Shout out to Sheesh. Why do I feel like Solano is going to 60 lol? But this is why I'm a meh trader, because I said I feel. Shout out to Bison. That's a great observation for sure. But guys, what were we looking here on XRP, right? We honestly, this has been very technical. We got the retracement into the area where we know a lower high is likely. If we got the drop down and get accepted into the value area high, 80% chance about to get a move down to the POC 786. If that doesn't hold, we're going to look for the move down to the golden pocket value area low. And to be honest, this 786 and the golden pocket we had down here were pretty speaking of meh, pretty meh levels, right? I've been saying for weeks now that I would prefer a drop down to this value area low, and there's the strong bounce, right? You do have an 80-minute bullish divergence here. It's kind of gross. 24-minute bullish divergence. So, yeah, I mean, the volume profiles are OP, my friends. This is where you look for longs. This is where you look for shorts. And honestly, here as well. Deviate above the high, bearish confirmations, high probability of a lower high, get stuck back into the range. Next likely place for price to go is the POC. Lose the POC. Next likely place for price to go, golden pocket, deviate below. That's where you look for longs. Back into the range, flip it to support, push up towards the POC. So these levels remain exactly the same. I'll be honest, I'm actually kind of mad I didn't catch a long here on XRP. I would have been willing to take a shot here. Money flow coming up, looking very similar on Market Cipher B as everything else. Value area lows, your key level support, 213. I know a lot of people were looking at this POC, 250, 240. A lot of people were even looking at these lows. I even pulled this range to look at these lows and decided to just take them off the chart and just re-look at this range because I don't like these lows. What is this, 228? I don't really know the significance of this other than just previous lows. When you have a massive value area low down here, very probable that you're going to come down to that level. And we see it play out perfectly. So, you know, I'm kind of mad I didn't catch this this long on XRP, if I'm being totally honest with you guys. But key levels, value area low here, 214. If we hold above that level, POC could be likely. I'm going to get rid of that local 786. POC up here. Let me label this. POC. Got your value area high right here. And you got your value area low. Come on. Give me that horizontal. Never mind. I'm not gonna mark the value area low because it's being annoying. But yeah, there you go. Value area low sitting at, can I grab that dang level? There we go. Value area low sitting at 214. Now, if we break out of this range, guys, I will say, like, is it over for XRP as far as the dump over? I don't know. Money flow's not looking great. And I'll be honest, like, XRP's been holding up decent here during this all this chaos. But let's take a look at the daily. Yeah, I mean, if we can get that daily bull div, I wouldn't hate that, right? You came into a key level. Lower lows on your price action, higher lows on your momentum waves. If we print that green dot, that's your best bet for another move up on XRP because you tap the key level, and if you get those bull divs, that would be very nice. 16-hour bull div is printing. Again, I wouldn't say this is like ready to go forever. You know, who knows? But I would be very careful with Bitcoin situation right now. But yeah, you got bull divs into a macro value area low. That's not bad. I'm mad I missed that. I didn't catch that low there. But if we break the golden pocket, next key level, 786 at $1.99. So watch out for that as well. Let's see. Let's see. Native Faith said more market manipulation. It'll dump again. If Bitcoin does what we think it will, then very likely XRP will follow for sure. Yeah, shout out to Tamala. Shout out to Tamala. I'm gonna call you Tamala, bro. Shout out to you. Says 1% risk and rolling stop loss is the way to make money, baby. Shout out to you, bro. I can't agree more. I can't agree more, bro. Let's see, 87.4, and I'm selling full port. Pi is sus. Something about it isn't right. Let's take a look at pi, or P, as some people call it. Let's take a look here. I keep spilling coffee everywhere. Let's see. Usually Mexi has good price history. I guess not. Take a big get spot. All right. So let's see here. Am I looking at the right thing? Correct me if I'm looking at the wrong thing here. What does 1% risk mean? Shout out to Dark. Says, what does 1% risk just means? Again, I talked about this earlier today on the live stream. 1% risk means that if you get stopped out of it means you're only risking 1% of your account, right? So for easy example, a $100 account means that you're only risking $1 on each individual trade. It doesn't mean that you're putting $1 on every trade. It means that if you get stopped out of any trade, you're only going to lose $1 on a $100 account, right? So if you get stopped out, you will only lose $1. That would be 1% risk on a $100 account. So hopefully that makes sense. You could put all your money on the trade as long as you're only risking losing 1% if you get stopped out. Maybe I should make another risk management video. I think we're due for an update on that. But yeah, just looking at this price action here, I would say this is a lot of people will be looking at this as some kind of bull pennant, right? Now, will that play out? Maybe, right? Kind of hard to tell here unless I'm looking at the order flow. But yeah, or maybe I guess you could see that as a rising wedge. Nah, not really. Yeah, I would probably look at that more of a pennant than anything. But green dot flashing on the 90-minute, green dot looking to print on the 80-minute, 30-minute green dot is printing. Yeah, this is kind of hard to read, right? Like, there's not much I could do with this chart. It does look a little wonky. Doesn't mean that it's a scam or anything necessarily. But this is yeah, there's not much I can really pull away from this, right? If I pull up the daily, there's not a lot of information. I can't pull any horizontals. Even if I were to pull a range here, like, it's not really a clean range. It's more of like a pennant, right? Or just like a triangle in general, right? Like something like this maybe, if you were to pull this all the way back to the wick. So yeah, kind of hard to make sense of this, to be quite honest. Lower time frame though, like even market cipher B, like money flow's just been in the green for a while here. It's a little bit of a wonked out chart. Again, doesn't necessarily mean it's a scam. Like even on the 4-hour, 5-hour, like I can't get any information here, so I can't really give any significant information. What I can tell you is if we pull this fib high to the low, yeah, if you break the golden pocket, I'll tell you this, it's likely that you're going to go to about $1.64. Beyond that, break the 786. I don't know what's going to happen after that because it's just no price history. But yeah, I would watch $1.60. I mean, I guess I could pull up some extension levels for you. Here's some, levels you can look at. $1.81 to $1.63 if this continues up, and 786 at $1.64. I'd be careful with the much higher targets, but I would be looking at these levels if it continues up. So there you go. Other than that, kind of hard to read this chart. It's just not very analyzable, if you will. Let's see. The money flow waves were diminishing, I guess, on the lower time frames. Yeah, on the 15-minute, you could probably draw that as like over time. I do like looking at the lower highs on money flow to a degree. If it happens over a long enough period of time, sometimes it can get a little bit sketchy. But yeah, overall, probably trending to the downside. Really just hard to take any information away from this. I mean, this thing's just been in like a tight range for a long time. But yeah, I wish I could do a little better than that, but it's you can only work with what we have. Let's take a look at Stewie. We have not taken a look at Stewie in quite some time. Pull our actual Stewie chart up. What is this? Let's go to the Binance chart. Yeah, so SUI, in the grand scheme of things, obviously, SUI kind of holding up more with Bitcoin than it is with the rest of the alt market, right? Like a lot of the altcoins are all the way down back to their 2022 lows, and SUI just kind of holding up with Bitcoin, kind of looking much more like Bitcoin, right? Like Bitcoin had its lows in 2022, obviously, but like it's been running more with Bitcoin, and even this correction looks very similar to Bitcoin. But yeah, I mean, we haven't looked at this in a while, but when we did, we were looking at this anchored VWAP. This has been key resistance all the way down, right? Rejection, couldn't get back above. So yeah, we've now lost this range. So I'm gonna go ahead and hide. I'm gonna pull the anchored VWAP back up though, because this is very key. But yeah, I would say, let me pull some fibs here from the low to the high. Got that 786 tap right here. So, yeah, I mean, technically, if you don't put in a new low here, if you're able to like reclaim, I mean, that could be the low. I would not be putting my money on that. But this is a nice 786 tap. Very nice 786 tap. And you just have that big liquidation wick that taps you down there. So, I mean, if you're, and another 786 tap here. So, yeah, I don't know if I'd be like, betting on that, but, it's nice to see that you have that 786. I would look at this as a range down below to watch. I don't know if you're even going to get all the way back down here. Hopefully we don't. But if you do, this would be a local range I would keep an eye on. Right? Break the 786. This is likely going to be the zone that you're coming into. Value area low at $1.70, POC at 203, value area high at 210. So if you come down here, you'll lose the golden 786, right? If you can't reclaim the golden pocket, next likely place for price to go is the 786. You lose that 786. I'd look for the drop down to this zone here. Now, if we pull a little bit of a lower, let's pull a little bit more of a macro fib. Let's pull it from this all the way down to the low to the high. Yeah, and this is confluent with this full fib here, right? From the low here to the high. Lose this 786. You do have the, I'll just hide this real quick to make it a little bit easier to look at, right? Hide, right? Let's assume you lose all those levels. Golden pocket somewhat confluent with that value area high, so maybe you come in here and play with these levels. Right? Bullish case is you put in some bullish confirmations on that golden pocket value area high confluence. Maybe you play with the golden pocket wick into the POC value area high. But it's definitely going to be a big zone of support to look for. Golden pocket value area high POC. It's a pretty big range, but I will mark it out. There it is. You lose the POC. I'd be looking for the bigger drop down to the value area low, where if you deviate below, you have the 786 sitting at about $1.50. These are the key levels I'd look at on SUI. If you get the bigger drop down, if the alts are going to continue to get absolutely wrecked, it's not going to be impossible to look down towards these levels. Now, if you get a push back to the upside, right? And again, I would be letting things settle here for the most part, but let's pull some ranges here. I don't love this range, to be honest with you. I would much rather look at this as one range, which is basically what I had. And then, this is I wish we had a more tangible range here. I mean, I'd probably be looking at this. It's not a clean range, but the levels are respected here. So let me pull this real quick. So, yeah, these are the local levels I would look at. Even this local range up here. Boom. You could copy or screenshot these levels if you want to get them on your chart. But yeah, this is what I would look for. If you get the return up from these local levels, get above the value area low, this anchored VWAP is probably going to be coming down pretty aggressively. So, that might continue to hammer you lower. But yeah, this local value area low would be your key level of resistance on SUI. Yeah, you don't really have beautiful confluence there. Value area low at 312. If you get the move up there, this is going to be resistance until proven otherwise. Flip that to support, POC, flip that to support. Value area high, this would be the local range to the upside. If we wind up losing this in a really, really big way, big drop to the downside, golden pocket, confluence down here. I would expect that big drop down. So there you go. That's what I'd be looking at on SUI. As far as market cipher goes, somewhat similar to everything else. Money flow coming out on the 2-day. Very similar to everything else. So same sentiment remains the same. Sentiment remains the same here on SUI as well. All right, let's see. Shout out to Treek Lee. Shout out to you, bro. Says, can you check out Proton? Yeah, we could try to take a look at Proton or I don't know exactly what you mean there. XRP and Proton, or XRP. Yeah, I'm probably not going to be able to find a chart there. Yeah, I probably won't be able to find a trading view chart if this is what you're looking for. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, shout out to Treek. You don't have to send another super chat, but try to send another regular chat. And mods, if you could potentially. Do we have any mods in here anymore? I think maybe Darren is still with us. Tyler, maybe. I just don't see any blue names, but they might just be lurking. But yeah, if one of the mods can let me know what he says. You don't have to send another super chat. And then Josh, thank you for the super chat, bro. He says, Caspa, we could take a look at Caspa. Yeah, let's take a quick look at Caspa. By the way, guys, super chats do not guarantee we look at your coin. Just a note to self there. But we will take a look at Caspa. Let's take a look here. Well, hey. Interesting. We haven't looked at Caspa in a while. I guess since back here in early February. Tyler, Tony, Dave Digital. All right, there we go. Lurkers. We got lurkers. Let's go. Let's see. I think that's like I don't know. I feel like that was weird. I scrolled up and I was like trying to see who like the what mods were in here. I think it's the furthest I've ever scrolled without seeing a blue name. It's like never happened to me before. I'm sure it happens all the time, but that must have just who chatted what now? Shout out to Tyler Durden. Treek wants to see XRP Proton. I don't know exactly what he means. I don't want him to lurkers checking in. K Diggity, let's go, baby. Let's see. Shout out to Daddy Coin. Daddy chill. Shout out to Daddy Coin. Said, I just bought Market Cipher with your code. Tell me where to learn how to use it. Shout out to Daddy Coin. Go to the beginner series. I have Market Cipher B tutorials living in that playlist that will show you exactly what I look for. And obviously tune into the live streams because we use it every single day. If you really want to learn the nuances of how I look at it in different situations, these live streams are probably the best, and the market updates are the best place to do that. But yeah, let's see. Possible head and shoulders on SUI daily time frame before we come back to Caspa. Let me see. Daily head and shoulders. Not a big pattern trader, so I'm not going to say that it's definitely not here. I just don't know exactly what you're looking at. I don't see it, but I could be missing it. Again, not something I take into a huge account. But yeah, I don't. Oh, wait, head and shoulders or inverse head and shoulders? I am. Shout out to Colin said, this waiting to get into a trade is killer. Yeah, shout out to Colin. Shout out to Wick589. Thank you for the super chat. Says, in much the same way you cook a steak by walking it through a warm room, could you look at Sheeb for my buddy Wall Street Mafia? Love you anyway. Shout out to Wick589. Let's go. I will try to take a look at Sheeb. Absolutely. Thank you for the super chat, Wick, and thank you for being here every single weekday at 5:45 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Shout out to you, bro. Shout out to Fudd. Fudd Rector says, Frankie, what's up with all the manipulation? Oh, he just wants XRP? Yeah, for sure. We can take a look at XRP. I guess, yeah, for sure. Thank you, Dave and Tyler. Oh, yeah, if there's no chart, I won't be able to look at it, unfortunately. And if it's on something like Dex Tools, typically it's either like a newer coin or like some kind of a meme coin, which is... The TA is only going to help you so much on that stuff anyway. But yeah, shout out to Dave and Tyler. Okay, XPR. Am I dyslexic? Tony D, let's book a doctor's appointment. I got to get checked for dyslexia. XPR. But anyway, let's take a look at Caspa. I don't see the head. I don't really see a regular head and shoulders or an inverted head and shoulders on SUI. But take that with a grain of salt because I'm not a. Unless you're looking at like this, which I would not take into account, unless you're looking at like something like that as an inverse head and shoulders. I mean, I guess technically, but yeah, I don't see it there. But let's take a look at Caspa, and then let's take a look at XPR. Thank you, Tyler. I see a KSEX chart for it. I def have it sometimes too. Shout out to Tony D. Shout out to the dyslexic people out there. I probably have it to some degree. But let's see. Yeah, Caspa. I guess we looked at this in early February. Yeah, we lost the golden pocket, POC, value area low, bearish retest, and the breakdown. Let's see where our next major support is. Like same thing with Caspa. This is holding up more like Bitcoin rather than the rest of the alts. If you were buying Caspa, we actually called Caspa off a token metrics post in the dining room way back in the day. Subs, I believe it was 0.00. I want to say it's 0.003. I might be tripping. No, yeah, we called Caspa on the token metrics chart as a low cap gem right here. Right before it really wound up taking off. So if you were, and not that you had to catch it at the bottom, but if you were buying this like any point really, you in pretty good shape here. Definitely holding up better than the other alts. But let me go ahead and pull up the weekly real quick. And let's pull some significant fibs here. So let me pull it from this to the high. So yeah, we're at that golden pocket. I mean, this might be what we were looking at before. Maybe not. But let me just get rid of this line. I don't know. Yeah, I mean, you got your golden pocket. Again, I would be careful here. If we're going to get more downside, the next big level to look at for sure is going to be the 786 at about 0.054 cents. 0.053. Right? You have these structural highs. You have the 786. And again, if you lose that golden pocket, the next level to expect is the 786. And again, that is, quick moves up oftentimes lead to quick moves down. Right? So if I pull up a VPVR on this, probably going to see quite a volume gap here. Right? There it is. Right? Break this. Bitcoin goes to 80K. I say Caspa goes to 5 cents. Would be a killer short if you could catch that through that low volume gap. You have a little honorable mention level here at 0.064, but that's pretty much what I would be looking at. Lose the golden pocket, fast drop down to the 786. So yeah, I'll leave it at that. That's your key level of support. Key level of resistance remains the same. Value area high. 11 cents. If I were to potentially try to catch a short on this, I would probably be, looking at, yeah, I mean, hard to say. If you could get this full retracement into the golden pocket 786, maybe that's where you catch it. You also have your local fibs as well from the local lower highs. Really hard to say in an aggressive downtrend like this. Really the bigger level to watch would be the full fib from the high to the low, which would be 10 to about 0.107, right? So almost, getting close to 11 cents at the value area low. So this would be, I don't know if you're going to get all the way up there, but if you do, that would be a big level I'd be looking for a rejection at. But definitely in the long term, you definitely do not want to lose this golden pocket. If Bitcoin goes to 80K, this golden pocket is going to get lost very likely. You'll fall through that low volume gap to about 5 cents. You saw it here first. Let's see. Let's see. Okay, so let's take a look at XPR. All right, so let's take a look here. Okay, I was just trying to find a little bit of a cleaner chart, but it looks like this is what we're working with. Super scam wick to the downside. I guess they had a lot of liquidity down here, or, as it was coming up on that aggressive move. But let's see. Daily green dot actually looking to print here. This is holding up pretty nice as well. But daily green dot incoming. 90-minute money flow trying to come up as well. I would, again, keep in mind if Bitcoin dumps, this stuff is all likely to dump down. This chart's a little wonky, to be honest. I could pull this range technically. This would be something we could look at, right? So I will just mark this out as your value area. Value area high sitting here at about 0.0057. Value area low at 0.0039. POC at 0.0052. So, yeah, you front ran this value area low a little bit, but then you tapped it. So I would definitely look at this, right? Like, do you have confluence here on that bounce with a fib? You did. 786. That was a nice little support zone. 786 value area low confluence. But yeah, I mean, I would just look to respect this range. If you lose this range, I would, let me just change the setting really quick. Yeah, I mean, key resistance above POC, value area high. That's what I would look at. If you lose this range, I mean, I would probably be looking at it as a volume profile, right? Like you could look for longs below the low, but if you lose it in a big way, what would the next key level be in my opinion? I would look at this daily level sitting right here. Bada boom. There you go. Come on down here, lose that 786, lose the value area low. Daily could hold you up. You have another daily sitting down here, right? Do you have the weeklies close to that as well? Yeah, you also have a weekly down here, so you have the daily and the weekly here, which makes this a little bit more interesting. So these are the levels I'd look at, right? You have your daily and weekly and your daily down below. These would be the support levels I would watch if you break down below the range, but for the most part, I'll be honest, I don't like pulling wicks. I don't like pulling fibs from these crazy scam wicks. Even if you pull this, yeah. I mean, I guess you could technically pull this. These would be support levels I'd watch down below. So there you go. These are some key levels, kind of a lot of them, but I would look to respect this range until it's lost, right? So if it came down low, I'd be looking for longs, back up to the high, deviate above the high, look for the shorts, back down to the low. And then once you start losing that, I mean, this is honestly nice backup support if you lose the range low. And then you lose that golden pocket, probably on your way to that 786. But just understand you have the daily, weekly just above it. So these are definitely the key levels. I probably wouldn't look at these as, I would look at these as two separate levels, right? Daily, weekly, and then the 786. So these are the levels I'd look at. Feel free to screenshot them if you want to get them on your chart. And there you go. Let's see. Shout out to Tamala. Shout out to Tamala. Said, gonna join the private Discord soon. Shout out to Tamala. Looking forward to having you in there, bro. We're looking forward to seeing you. And just another reminder, guys. It is not a signals group. Obviously, I'm not going to go over the whole thing. Solana dumping now. No, I would say it's pumping, if anything. Locally, obviously. I mean, clearly. Obviously, it's getting massive dump. But yeah, I mean, if you could hold above that POC, look to the 786, flip that 786, look to come up to the bigger level, lose the POC, look down to come to the bigger level of support. But there we go. But yeah, there we go. Let's see. Bada boom, bada bing. Finding out your yo, shout out to Colin, said finding out you're dyslexic on stream is priceless. For everything else, there is BTC. Yo, shout out to Colin. Yeah, I guess just new diagnosis, guys. New diagnosis. Frankie Candles is dyslexic. But guys, with all that being said, I think that's all the time we got for today's live stream. I appreciate every single one of you guys for hanging out till the end of the stream. Smash the like button on your way out. If you have not already, it helps us out immensely, more than you could possibly think. Shout out to Tony Fro has said signals group, swipe right. Shout out to Tony. But yeah, guys, we'll see what happens here. We're in the long position. We're in the short. And at this point, my general assessment here is a lackluster retracement to the upside. If we can hold above the daily at 87.3, look for those lackluster retracements into the key levels we talked about for a potential return back to lower prices. If you missed the TA, you just tuned in, go back to the beginning of the stream and get all the sauce. So you're ready for the next move, because it just seems every time Bitcoin gets volatile, our levels wind up getting hit, which is very, very nice. So with all that being said, guys, thank you so much for tuning in. I will see you here, same place, same time, tomorrow, 5:45 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. That's all I got. Shout out to Cody. Shout out to Tony. Shout out to Jesse. Shout out to TRD Farmer. Shout out to the mods. Show the mods some love. And with all that being said, I'll see you guys tomorrow. Hasta pasta. Bing bong.
Look what's next for me, Joe. I'm gonna get that second bell. Where the f is it? They should have had them two bells ready. Spit shine for me.
Yeah. Head up in the clouds, though they saying I look stressed. I've been feeling down, pray to God that I'm up next. Remember when she blew me off, that's why I can't text. Now she call me petty, but I swear I can't forget. This ain't a test. Now they saying that I ball like Jerry West. Coming back for what is mine, I can't take no less. I said go and take a shot, so I need your best. And stop the threats, don't know what is in me. I don't got time, I'm not giving the energy. Too many people around me, I'm finicky. I do not mess with you, dog, you're not kidding me. You don't got way too close. I've been up at the top now, so they all wait for the landslide. I seen too many people that switch Switched up, whose man's high? Through it all, I stay the same. I swear to God, I can't lie. Been down so damn low that I came up for my life. They talk way too much on the internet, it's not real life. I swear my fam waiting, I can't lose, and I'm still right. Still right. I swear that I'm working them up till like midnight. It's real life. I got a time and I'm coming to get mine. In time, I cannot lose and I'm coming right inside. I'm in mine, yeah.
Shout out to Cody. I think that's how you say that. He said, the SFP is a game changer. Just found you 2 days ago. Hey, shout out to Cody. Subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss any market updates or live streams. And yeah, bro, I'll be honest, you found me a couple days ago. You are, it's almost like when you find a new show that you've watched already and someone else finds it and you're like, oh my God, bro, you're so lucky you haven't watched that whole show. You're going to experience it for the first time. Go through the YouTube channel, bro. It's a free trading course pretty much. So go check it out. Start at the beginner series and then work your way down the tutorials and stay updated with the updates. And you will learn very, very quickly. So shout out to you, bro. Welcome to the Candle Mafia. And with all that being said, guys, I'll see you tomorrow. Same place. You guys know the rest. Hasta pasta. Bing bong!
Here we go, at the top of the class on a roll, and it's time to run it up, yeah you know. Maxed out, put the pedal to the floor, ayy. On the roll, here we go. Yeah, we winning by a landslide. Never see me coming, I'm a landmine. Yeah, I ain't taking orders in command like. Yeah, you about to see me on demand like. You know on demand. If you ain't know, you about to understand. Yeah, I got the team by my side, right hand. Yeah, take it to a string, you ain't seen it like that. Yeah, and it's the dream, and we coming for the bag. Yeah, and we ain't never going back now. Future expedited, now we on the fast track now. They won't lend a hand, now they see us on the map now. It's time to act out. Here we go, at the top of the class on a roll, and it's time to run it up, yeah you know. Maxed out, put the pedal to the floor, hey. On the roll, here we go, yeah. At the top of the class on a roll, hey. And it's time to run it up, yeah you know, yeah. Maxed out, put the pedal to the floor, yeah. On the roll, here we go. Here we go, at the top of the class on a roll, and it's time to run it up, yeah you know. Maxed out, put the pedal to the floor, hey. On the roll, here we go, yeah. At the top of the class on a roll, hey. And it's time to run it up, yeah you know, yeah. Maxed out, put the pedal